with every wave, with every grain of sand. The enduring echoes of our ancestry linger among the shoreline.
30 or 40 cars plunge through churning bits of rubber, dirt, and sand.
For a brief second, heroes of years past appear at the forefront of our mind, almost as if the recollections were those of today. Long ago, when racing found this place, the small beach town came to life. Today,
the battle is for the win.
Present-day warriors equipped for battle in modern armor. Familiar faces, as well as faces new, look to compete and bring home the top prize at the World Center of Racing.
Good job, guys. Good job. I'm proud of you guys, man.
Out in front of everyone is Tyler Reddick.
You win, buddy.
This is the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and we are Daytona.
It is a perfect night at the World Center of Racing. It's the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series season opener from Daytona. The talent runs deep. It's a great mix of youth and experience. 20-year-old Tyler Reddick tries to become just the second driver to win back-to-back Daytona truck races. Matt Crafton, a two-time series champion, has raced the track here 15 times, but he's never taken it to victory lane. Veteran Johnny Sauter has won here before. Now he's with a new team as he starts a new chapter in his career. They'll all start out chasing rookie Grant Enfinger, who won the pole in qualifying. It's going to be fast, it is going to be fun, and we're getting close. Fans are in, the conditions are perfect, and we're getting ready to go racing at Daytona. Let's go trackside for opening ceremonies from Daytona International Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Embry-Riddle Air Force ROTC Cadet Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Reverend John Long III from the Tubman King Community Church offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious and almighty God, as we come before you this night, seeking your divine favor upon all that is going to take place in this arena this night, we ask, oh God, that you bless every driver, the pit crews, keep us all safe. And then we ask, oh God, that as you protect those who are here, you protect those who protect us around the world. And we give you honor and glory in Jesus' name. And may we all together say, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem from Palm Coast, Florida, Tiffany Thomas.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Beautifully performed. Daytona Rising has given us our first motorsports stadium, and we're ready to give you the season opener next.
The #1 team in college basketball is on Fox. Tomorrow, a doubleheader tips off as Xavier faces Georgetown. Then, Ryan Archidiakono leads #1 Villanova in a showdown with Butler. A Big East doubleheader starts tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern and continues at 2:30 on Fox. Sponsored by the Jeep Renegade.
Nothing like the anticipation of the season opener of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, getting ready to drop the green on the 2016 season, and we couldn't be more excited about it. A lot to talk about tonight, including the young guns on the big track and all those veterans. You know they're going to be running wide open tonight. You better be running wide open, right? Along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Glad to have you with us tonight. Phil, the young guns, there's a lot of inexperience, more than a dozen drivers here for the first time. How are they going to handle it?
13 drivers are here for the first time. Guys, I've been coming here my entire life, and I have never seen racing like we have here in the Truck Series on this racetrack. They're all over this thing, 2 and 3 wide. For guys like William Byron, he won the K&N Championship last year. He's never experienced anything like this. He ran the ARCA race last week, and they were single file pretty much. And we've also got other, because how about Rico Abreu? Now, we saw him win the Chili Bowl the last 2 years, but that racetrack would fit in between pit road and the racetrack here at this place. He's never seen anything like it. So in order for one of these young guys maybe to get to victory lane, Michael, they're going to have to go through some veterans.
Yeah, and I saw some stuff in practice, Phil, that I haven't seen this early in the week. We saw that outside line form up and really make some progress. Usually at the beginning of this race, everybody knows it's important to bide your time, be patient, run some laps off. We see a long line on the bottom of the racetrack, but then when they bounce to the outside, it takes them a while to make progress. But in practice, Timothy Peters went up on the outside. You see him bouncing into the back of Tyler Reddick and making a move on the high side. As they race through 3 and 4, side drafting will be important. How you slow down the truck that's inside of you, and then ultimately get a big run off the corner that gets you ahead of that inside line. I'm looking forward to these guys dicing it up.
You forgot the middle. Some of these guys are going to shoot the middle.
You know, and we're going to see 3 wide. And 4 wide. 4 wide. That don't
it's
work.
not wide enough for 4 wide.
There's so much craziness and the speeds are so fast. How do you preach patience to these young guys? Because they're going to have that too.
It's paramount, Vince. You have to be that way the first 30, 40 laps of this race. You got to log some time. You got to get rid of the butterflies so you can settle in and go to battle.
And don't make any mistakes on pit road either.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the easy part, right? Yeah, we got to go to pit road and make it happen too, huh? Oh, we're getting ready to get going. It's going to be exciting. Can't wait. But first, we got to get the command for those drivers to fire up those engines. Let's go downstairs and do it.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Director of Origination for Westar Energy, Robert Day.
Drivers, start your engines.
Love it. The drivers are buckled in. The engines are fired. All that's left is to drop the green flag on the season, and we're going to do it next from Daytona. Back at Daytona International Speedway on FS1, getting ready to drop the green flag on the season opener for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. 32 trucks rolling off. Of course, this super speedway is so famous, Mike, as we take a look at the Camping World track description.
That's racing perfection to me. Nobody has done it better than Daytona International Speedway. It's the most fun track we race on. The 31 degrees of banking and those long straightaways means the foot's on the floorboard. The aerodynamic draft is how you are successful here at Daytona.
This thing is built for speed. Let's take a look at our Camping World race analysis. Race 100 laps, 250 miles. You see our pit window somewhere between 33 and 38 laps. Estimated pit stops too. Our winner last year was Tyler Reddick. And remember, we've got that caution clock at 20 minutes.
We take a look at the starting lineup tonight in that front row. The first time ever, GMS Racing swept the 2 spots. Grant Enfinger winning pole, and Johnny Sauter, new to the team, will start on the outside.
And everybody in the garage area is talking about Sauter, not only for this race tonight, but for the championship. This team is looking strong.
How about Matt Crafton, 2-time champion, back in row number 3 with Daniel Suarez. Going to win anytime now.
John West Townley won at Vegas last year. Cody Coughlin, his eyes will be wide open. Never seen anything like this, I can guarantee you.
Tyler Reddick won here a year ago. William Byron, a heralded rookie.
How about Rico Abreu? We talked about him winning twice in the Chili Bowl.
Chris Fontaine always battles his way to the front in these truck races at Daytona.
Ryan Truex had a top 5 here a couple years ago.
Tyler Young ran well here last year.
Ben Rhodes, a very heralded rookie, a former K&N East champion.
Bobby Gerhart, the ARCA champion at this racetrack. He wins more here than anybody.
It's been fun. Michel Distier from France in the field tonight.
Former series champion Travis Quappel back there in row 16.
Ben Kennedy struggled in qualifying, had a mechanical issue, but he'll start at the tail of the field tonight, and we'll get the green next. Back at Daytona, getting ready for the season opener of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Vince Welch, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip up in the booth, and downstairs it's Hermie Sadler, Caitlin Vincey, and Matt Yoakum. Let's check in with Hermie.
Well, Vince, Matt Crafton has had a tremendous Camping World Truck Series career. Back-to-back champion in 2013, 2014. 6 wins in 2015. But one racetrack has always been the Achilles heel for Matt Crafton. That's here at Daytona. But Matt tells me with this new chase format, he knows his team can win every week. He doesn't have to points race at Daytona. He's going for the win. Let's see if he can get his first win tonight. He's only had 1 top 5 in 15 starts at Daytona. He looks to improve upon that tonight. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, this time a year ago, Tyler Reddick found himself in victory lane for the truck season opener, and talking with him just a bit ago, he is hoping for a very similar result. But he told me this is going to be a very difficult race to win. The good news, he has 2 Brad Keselowski Racing teammates to work with in that draft, and that would be Austin Terrio and Daniel Hemrick. But another thing on his side, the team owner, Brad Keselowski, has also been checking in with the team and offering advice where he can as well on how to get around this racetrack. Matt?
Caitlin, change is indeed the biggest trend in 2016, and also touched a veteran, Timothy Peters, and his 17 Red Horse team. They retooled in the offseason, returning only 1 crew member and the over-the-wall guys from 2015. Now, the last time we were at a speedway race was fall last season at Talladega. Now, Timothy Peters, he led a third of that event and then ended that day in victory lane. Now, his team improved on that truck in the offseason, took it to the wind tunnel several times, so they retooled on that. They're pretty excited about their speed, but Timothy also improved on himself. He changed his workout program. He dropped 20 pounds. He thinks that will be a huge advantage for him later on in the season.
Let's get a word with Timothy Peters. A lot of changes going on down there. Timothy Peters, you got a new guy on the box. You got a new sponsor on the hood. You've lost 20 pounds. How excited are you for this event here in Daytona?
Mikey, I'm excited, buddy. What a great feeling to be back at Daytona. We come to the green. And thanks to Greg Cornelli and everyone at SRI Performance for jumping on board our Red Horse Tundra. Triad engine is awesome. Hopefully we can stay up here and have a shot at the win tonight. I think we do.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us while you're coming to the green, friend. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mikey.
Take a look at our onboard cams for tonight.
Yeah, that's a familiar sight with Tyler Reddick, but he's in the 29 driving that Ford Performance onboard camera. Cooper Standard on the side of that truck. He will start from the 12th spot.
How about we jump on board with a kid from Ohio starting 9th in the Jegs Toyota. That's Cody Coughlin making a start for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
How about we ride along with our 2-time series champion, Matt Crafton. Take a look at Matt inside. That's the Toyota onboard. He will be starting from the 6th spot, and he's going to have a very special look for us with his bumper cam.
Speaking of special look, I'm going to take you to the front row. Johnny Sauter starts from the front row. Everybody's picking him to be a guy that could win the championship and this race. He's going to roll off from the 2nd spot in his Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevy.
Final pace lap. The green flag awaits. What are they feeling right now?
This is the calm before the storm. They're anxious. They're grabbing hold of that steering wheel. Somehow you're going to have to relax and be patient like Michael was talking about, but it's hard to do here.
Can you imagine how much fun we're going to have over the next 6, 8, 10 months as we talk about these trucks racing their way to Miami? There's a new caution clock. There's a chase for the championship at the end of the year, and we've got a bunch of hungry rookies in this field.
And one of the rookies is Grant Enfinger. He will lead from the pole. He is in that yellow truck. He has chosen the outside line. His teammate is Johnny Sauter on the inside. They're going to lead us to green. The green flag is out. The 2016 Camping World Truck season is underway.
Enfinger pulls to the inside. That's some teamwork there. Johnny Sauter let him get a bit of a jump down to the inside, and now they're going to race down into turn 1.
Enfinger with a slight edge. Austin Terrio on the outside, lined up 10 rows deep.
Remember how good Austin Terrio was here last year. Had a top 5 finish, led some of this race. Great view from that bumper cam from Matt Crafton.
And he is all over the back of Terrio, pushing him up toward that 33 truck of Enfinger.
That's how that outside line works. You were talking about it, Michael. Got to have a little help up there.
Enfinger on the inside in the yellow truck. That's his teammate, Johnny Sauter, right behind him.
Now, isn't that what it looked like a lap ago?
At about 60 miles an hour? Let's do it at 180 miles an hour.
And what's important to note, Vince, these guys are being very respectful of one another right now. They're not clobbering into the back of them, bumping them, trying to get pushes. They're not side drafting that much. But every lap that goes by, that type of activity will increase. And it gets down toward the end of the race when you start doing this aggressively, as you see Johnny Sauter bouncing off the back of his teammate to try to grab that lead.
And remember, that's legal. You can't lock on, but you can bump.
Johnny was doing it perfectly. He was just bouncing his partner right out in front. And that's where he's gone. He's got a bit of an advantage over the second place truck on the outside.
And look how close they are together side by side. There's no room for error.
And look how they wiggle around, Vince. This is 190 miles an hour. There's no margin for error, and these trucks are unstable at times.
Huge lead for Grant Enfinger. He's got a full truck length right now over that side-by-side battle for second. Is Matt Crafton thinking about making it 3 wide? No, he's going to bump Terrio.
I think he's trying to see what shocks Austin's got in there. Look at that view, man. That's a great camera angle. How long will that camera last, Phil?
You wouldn't think it would last long with what Matt's doing to it now.
We addressed the caution clock at the beginning of the show. You see that up in the left-hand portion of your screen, top left. That starts at 20 minutes. It will tick down, and when it reaches 0, a caution will come out. A yellow flag will come out, and we'll have a caution. Now, if we get a caution before that clock reaches 0, it will reset. It's a new rule here in the Camping World Truck Series. Keep an eye on it. We don't know what kind of factor it will play, but the crew chiefs have definitely been looking at it as a strategy play.
Nobody knows what kind of factor it's going to be.
But it just definitely made the crew chiefs' jobs harder. They've got to decide whether to pit right before that caution comes out, if the caution flag or the caution clock comes into play, or whether to stay out on the track and pit after that.
How about Austin Terrio on the outside of the leader, Grant Enfinger? Terrio finished 4th here a year ago. It's a part-time deal. We got a problem. It's the 44, and that's Martins.
Tommy Joe Martins, that's probably going to be out of caution. There's enough damage to the right side of that truck. Track officials are taking a look at the racetrack now, seeing if he's losing any debris, but pretty significant contact with the right side of that truck.
He came right in front of the flag stand there, and I watched the officials closely looking at that 44 truck to see if anything was falling off of it. I think they've decided that there's no debris on the track.
Martins was running 23rd at the time.
Caution's out.
Now the caution is out for debris.
Caution is out.
You just have to wonder, Phil, if that was a case of bump drafting gone wrong. Been awful early in this race to have blown a tire.
Yeah, Tommy Joe is one of those guys that has never been here in the truck.
It did
Looks
have
like he cut a tire down, didn't it?
Did have a tire issue.
The yellow is out for the first time. Restart's always fun. We'll have one when we come back.
We love sports.
Jack, what up?
And sports loves us.
I love you. I love kiss the baby.
Have you heard the good news? TMC Sports is now on.
Back at Daytona, the Camping World Truck Series season opener from the World Center of Racing. Under caution, will come green next time by. This is lap 8. We'll go downstairs and check in with Caitlin Vinci.
Well, Vince, Austin Terrio and that 2 team have already been able to lead some laps here at Daytona, but his crew chief, Buddy Cisco, already encouraging him to get into fuel conservation mode.
Anything you can do to save fuel for me now will help me make a shorter stop later, bud. Already doing. Every race we do is a fuel mileage race.
Austin told me before the race that he wants to win this race tonight, not leave anything on the table. The reason being, currently he only has a one-race deal with this two team. So a win here at Daytona would help encourage more races for Austin Theriault in the Truck Series in the future. Matt?
Caitlin, down on the grid before the race, Matt Crafton spent a lot of time with young gun Christopher Bell, talking to him about the nuances of the draft, using his hands to describe several moves and how to move around within the draft, and that education continued under the caution.
Well, Christopher, he did a good job, but his spotter's got to tell him when I'm on the guy in front of us, so we were three-way locked right there. Yeah, 10-4, that's what's worrying me, and then that 00 is doing the same thing with him.
Crafton told me there's so many rookies and people that have so little experience here at Daytona. He would love to run with some of the veterans, but there's so many young guys in the field, it's hard to pair up with a veteran.
I love the veteran role that Matt Crafton has taken. He's helping Rico. He's helping Christopher Bell. He's really doing a nice job with these young drivers.
He'll help anyone. He knows if he helps a kid get better, less chance is going to mess him up, and Matt's just a real caring, giving guy.
And Christopher's not a teammate.
Manufacturer teammate, both in Toyotas, but Christopher Bell with Kyle Busch Motorsports, and of course Matt Crafton with Thor Sport. Getting ready for the restart. Austin Theriault, the leader on the inside. Grant Enfinger on the outside.
Enfinger took the outside. His teammate Johnny Sauter's right behind him. See if they can push that outside lane to the lead. We saw Theriault do it from the high side.
Well, I like that inside line with Matt Crafton. We talk about the veteran leadership of Matt Crafton right now lined up behind Theriault.
Crafton hasn't had great results through the years here at Daytona. Just one top 5 in 15 previous starts, but he was so excited about the piece that they brought here for this race this weekend.
How about that push that Enfinger got from his teammate Johnny Sauter out into the lead? But if he's a good teammate, he's not going to pull down in front of Theriault. He's going to stay out in front of his teammate Johnny Sauter on the outside, try to get him clear of Theriault.
Well, one good way to do it too, Phil, is you got to drop down to the bottom and block the run if Theriault gets it. So it's Enfinger's job to stay kind of fluid and get in both lanes, trying to cut off the low lane and then help the high lane. And I think that's what he's doing here.
That lead pack has broken away a bit.
And Johnny Sauter said, I saw what you're doing, teammate, but I got to go.
I've got Timothy Peters behind me, and we're going.
And I just have to tell you how good that feels to look in your mirror and see Matt Crafton and see Timothy Peters. Those guys know what they're doing. They're not going to get you in trouble. When you have a rookie pushing you, you don't know if he knows exactly how to do that job.
On board with Cody Coughlin. That's John West Townley just ahead of him in the orange and black truck.
Cameron Haley, the 13 truck on the inside. Cody's doing trouble. Tommy Joe Martin's probably as a result of what happened earlier, probably cut another tire down. That truck was heavily damaged from that first incident that brought out our first caution.
And notice that caution clock had reset after the initial caution. So we've run a couple of minutes, and now we've got another yellow, and again brought out by Tommy Joe Martins.
Guys, I know it's been a few months since we were at Talladega, a year obviously with the truck since we were here at Daytona. I forgot how nervous this makes me. I know these guys at any second are just a couple of inches away from a big crash. When you get to pushing each other and you're side drafting, those things get to bobbling, it can cause a heck of a mess.
And you wonder, we're on 11 laps of 100. Why are we bumping it now? Why are we pushing now?
I just think you got to, there's one school of thought that you have to learn. You got to figure out what it's going to take to get to the front. You get on the outside lane, you got to push in order to find out if that's where your truck works the best. You have to study if you're planning on winning this race throughout the event to make sure you know exactly what to do later.
That's Tommy Joe going right through the middle, right in front of Timmy Hill. What a fortunate break for Timmy Hill in the 49 truck that he was able to avoid.
Well, that's just 44. A great job of driving by Timmy Hill. He reacted quickly, but not too quickly, didn't overreact, and got his truck to the inside. That's a great job.
Martin's going to the garage. Timmy Hill may look back on that as Brandon Brown may from the initial incident involving Tommy Martins, because both of them missed contact by about a foot or less. So they may look back on that at the end of the night and say, well, we dodged a bullet and ended up getting a pretty good finish tonight.
I think Brandon Brown, that 86 truck, got a little contact from that first incident with Tommy Joe Martins, but he was able to hold on to that truck and stay on the racetrack.
You know, at the end of the night, the guy who wins the race is probably going to have had a close call or two. But it's not always the guy that just wins or finishes in the top 5 that looks at the night at the end and says, hey, we had a successful season opener, but boy, we had a couple of close calls out there.
Well, you can't run 100 laps here without having a few close calls, and that's for the guys like Johnny Sauter, Grant Enfinger running up front. There's going to be close calls for everybody.
Okay, 13 drivers in the trucks here at Daytona for the first time. We've had a couple of yellows, but you guys were talking about a little bit of bumping, a little bit of grinding. Have they calmed down any at this point? Have the nerves settled through these?
I think maybe the nerves have settled. I don't know about calming down, but the nerves have settled.
I don't know. I think, Vince, it's also live and fluid. Every lap is a different adventure. You learn things, you see things that you hadn't seen before. I don't think there's any time to relax yet.
The pits are open. We'll see if there are any takers. We had a handful that first go around under yellow, and there's a long line of them coming right now, led by Johnny Sauter, who is the race leader. Caitlin Vincey's down there waiting on that 2 truck of Austin Theriault.
The 2 of Austin and Theriault has been looking strong all throughout the course of this race so far. One of the teams opting to pit. It looks like they're going to be taking fuel only, no tire changes for the 2 truck. Matt.
The game plan is similar for most of the trucks in my area, not wanting to lose track position. Fuel only for Timothy Peters, Hermie.
The 21 of Johnny Sauter, fuel only, a wedge adjustment. The 33 Grant Enfinger, also fuel only. He wins the battle off pit road. Grant Enfinger up front. That's the 18.
Yeah, the 18 of Cody Coughlin. Wow. Under yellow for the 2nd time tonight. Tommy Joe Martins, both times. Green when we come back. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Just a gorgeous night here in Daytona Beach. Temperature today at about 70, cooling down into the nice comfortable temperature here this evening.
That's my favorite place on earth. What a beautiful view. What a spectacle this Daytona International Speedway is. How much fun is it to watch these trucks? A lot of strategy going down on pit road, Matt. What happened to the 18 when he pitted?
Well, he was making his way down pit road to his pit box. Wes Ward was counting him down, and he drove past his pit stall. So they called him back in. They were going to do fuel only, but they brought him back in, and he just did 4 tires and fuel. Caitlin?
Tyler Reddick and the 29 team. You're the only team who has yet to come down pit road. Talking with the crew chief Doug Randolph now. What's your plan for strategy?
Well, with this new shot clock, we're pretty sure with the fuel we have in there, if it goes green 20 minutes, that we can make it to that caution. So that's what we're playing for here. It's brand new for everybody. We've tried to calculate, you know, lap times, how many laps we're going to run in that 20 minutes, and we feel confident that if we run under green that we can make it to that next caution.
Thank you, Doug.
And see the 19, that's the teammate of the 29. The 19 is Daniel Hemrick. He has just left pit road. He came in and topped off for fuel and almost had contact with the 07 of Michel Distier.
Yeah,
wow.
Very, very close. I thought they might have had contact, but it looked like they narrowly avoided it there.
You know, Doug said he was confident they could make it all the way to the caution clock, but he didn't sound too confident about that. Said they were trying to weigh out the complications of the shot clock and how that might affect their race. And Phil, just doing the quick math here, I don't think they can quite get there if it goes 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And if they do have to pit before the caution comes out for the shot clock, and then he'll be running at such a reduced rate of speed, he will have no one to race with, and they're running 2 seconds faster in the draft than he could by himself.
Well, when he comes out, if he happened to catch that lead draft and got in the back of that, then they all pitted a couple of laps later when the caution clock goes off, it might work for him, but there's a lot of things going on right now in that team's pit area. And they've just told the 29 truck, you're fine, buddy. We're going to run to this caution clock, and then we'll pit. And he doesn't have a calculator, so he hadn't figured it out. The driver hadn't figured it out yet.
Well, the caution clock hasn't gotten much work because we've only had a little bit of time tick off before we've had another caution. Tommy Joe Martins has brought it out both times. So our first section of racing was 3:45. Our second race section of racing under 2 minutes.
The only thing Tyler Reddick knows for sure is he's the only one that stayed out. And that raises a bit of a question mark in your mind.
So Tyler Reddick on the inside, Bobby Gerhart on the outside. We have restarted back to green at Daytona.
What about Bobby Gerhart? So successful down here in his ARCA car, and he's got his 36 pickup truck right up in the top 5.
He's only won 8 times here in the ARCA series.
Looks like he's a bit of a roadblock right now, though. A couple of trucks jumping to the outside. 3 wide. We talked about that in the pre-race.
Yeah, Bobby's in the middle. He doesn't want to be there. Nothing, and he's still wide open. He hasn't backed off or hit the brakes. Those guys just have that head of steam. They left him by himself, and they're just going by.
That's a helpless feeling.
Just swallowed him up.
He will work his way all the way back to the back of this pack.
And he can start all over, try to work his way back to the front. First time we've seen a big break on that outside lane, and that's because of the start that Gerhardt got. It slowed down that outside line, but here they come, led by the very strong, fast truck of Grant Enfinger.
Right behind Enfinger is the 88 of Matt Crafton. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Vince, that move you just saw a few moments ago was by plan. Crafton told his spotter, Jason Hedleski, tell Christopher Bell, I want to shuffle the 36 to the middle. We'll make the outside work. We'll organize it, and then we'll shuffle him back and work our way up to the front. You should hear Crafton on the radio. He was telling his spotter, talk to the 2, talk to so-and-so. It's like he's an air traffic controller trying to dictate how everybody else should form up in the draft.
Wow, 3 wide coming into 4 as Johnny Sauter got out of line and put Enfinger on the outside. Now Crafton is right behind Sauter in that middle line.
How about Matt Crafton went with his old teammate, Johnny Sauter?
Well, there was no future in what Enfinger did. He jumped to the outside of Sauter. He should have just rolled off the gas and got behind his teammate, because when you go high here and try to run 3 wide on your own, you're done. And that's a great example of that. He looks as slow as Bobby Gerhardt right now did on that start, and we know he's got one of the fastest trucks in town.
And he's going to end up back there with Bobby Gerhardt in the space of a lap.
At the front of the line is Tyler Reddick. He's got Ben Kennedy right on his tailgate. Timothy Peters in the white 17. Let's go downstairs. More from Hermie.
Well, you guys saw the 21 of Johnny Sauter being pushed to the front. His spotter is Tab Boyd. They tried to time it for him to jump up to the outside lane, pick up his teammate Therio of the 33. The timing did not work out correctly, and you saw the result. The 33 of Enfinger went all the way to the back.
Boy, guys, it's amazing. As soon as you jump out of line just a little bit, somebody steps up in, and all of a sudden the line forms behind and you get sent.
And nobody's exempt, too. And you don't even have to make a mistake. You can just get shuffled out, and you'll go straight to the back. We saw Cole Custer do it just now in the 00 truck.
What about that start? We saw Bobby Gerhardt fall to the back. He didn't qualify well. We said, well, he just doesn't have a fast truck. And then we saw Grant Enfinger do it. He was on the pole, and he fell back just as quickly as Gerhardt had. But look at that outside line now with Therio. He's able to drive up to the outside, making his way to the front.
That's his teammate in the 29 just ahead of him, Tyler Reddick. Reddick, the only truck on the track who has not pitted yet tonight.
Let's give a call out to Ben Kennedy. Started in the back after problems qualifying. He's up to the 3rd spot, battling for the lead.
Great to see he has his teammate Timothy Peters, that 17 red and white truck, right behind him. Well, how about William Byron right behind Timothy Peters? We haven't talked a whole lot about William since the start of this race. He's up there now running comfortably in the top 10.
High school senior, by the way. If you wonder what your kid's doing on a Friday night, Mr. and Mrs. Byron's son's running 190 miles an hour at Daytona.
On board with Johnny Sauter.
Got a pretty good push from Matt Crafton. Pulls him up alongside of Ben Kennedy in that Jacob Construction Toyota.
Mitch and Kennedy starting at the back of the field. He pitted on lap 6. Everybody else other than Reddick came in lap 13. So that's how Ben Kennedy gained all that track position, and now he's right in the mix at the front.
How about Reddick getting shuffled out? Look like he threw out an anchor.
Wow.
2 inside. Don't hold yet, buddy.
You got to watch that mirror, Phil.
2 inside. And 2 inside. That's the last one in the middle. You go to the middle there now. Middle's open. Middle is open.
Tyler Reddick won this race a year ago. He knows how to get it done. But boy, if you get out of line, you're going to pay the price no matter who you are.
Pretty much the safe way to play this first 50, 60 laps is to plant your nose on that yellow line and just stay there. That way you're not going to get shuffled to the back. You got to play defense. You got to watch that mirror and not let them get on the inside of you. But that's a safe way to run the race early.
If you stay against that yellow line, double yellow line, you can't get shuffled to the middle. And you're not going to go back but so far.
The green 21 of Johnny Sauter at the front of the field. driving with a new team this year. He's got a new crew chief. Former winner here at Daytona.
Watch Johnny move over. He's, as you were talking about, he's just playing to try to make sure that the trucks behind him stay side by side.
One of the rookies we've been keeping an eye on throughout the course of the weekend, Rico Abreu in the 98 truck. More on him with Matt.
Vince, Rico knows every race will be a huge learning curve. Now, his process started last night. Matt Crafton took him up to the spotter stand for the dual events. He put a headset on. He listened to his spotter, Derek Nealon, who's also Kyle Larson's spotter, and just listened to the cadence, the information. But what he took away from the most, and he's going to try to use tonight, is the fact that the spotter is so limited in visibility and also the closing rates. There's much more on the shoulders of Rico in this event.
Yeah, guys, you have to realize how far away these spotters are when these trucks are on the backstretch. Whoa, we see them now dancing around there. Those spotters can't see that.
That was a near miss.
88. I'll go back to the 2. Perfect.
Johnny Sauter's playing the game. That's his spotter saying you got the 88.
Watch him here. It's hard to tell. Goes back and forth. Yep. Perfect. Feeding off both. Perfect. You're good. Stand with the 2 for a second. 4's getting a 88's getting a boost. Go 88. Yeah. Cool. That's perfect. That's perfect.
How long can you be perfect, though? That truck of the 88 of Matt Crafton with a big push from Christopher Bell there, he had a lot more speed than Sauter. Sauter planned it perfectly, but now he's going to get shucked to the center if he's not careful, and watch him fall like a bag of rocks. No more perfect.
Oh, and they tried, and they worked at it. It looked like one time before when he pulled up in front of the 88 that he wasn't going to be, that he was barely clear.
And he was lucky to only have dropped a handful of positions. Most of the other guys we've seen get out of line, they've gone straight to the back.
Yeah, that was a nice recovery by Sauter. But think about it, Phil. If he had stayed on the yellow line and just led the race, sure, those guys on the outside would get a run, but he wouldn't have been put in that vulnerable position.
Now it's Matt Crafton at the point, the two-time series champion. Won 6 times last year, coming off a career best season, but a season in which he didn't win the championship. He won the season finale last year at Homestead. Now he's trying to open the 2016 season with another trip to victory lane.
Good morning.
Back at Daytona, the season opener, the Camping World Truck Series. It's been exciting so far. A couple of yellows, couple of cautions, 5 different leaders. Matt Crafton currently on point in that bright yellow 88.
You can see the caution clock has ticked down there to under 10 minutes, so we're halfway through this run. But the thing that I'm seeing is just the intensity ticking up and up and up.
From the time we started the race, we've had this intensity. We've had two distinct lines since we started this race.
But they're bobbing and weaving more. They're getting more aggressive with their pushes and side drafting, and that's just a recipe for a big crash.
Remember, we've run almost 30 laps now on the same set of tires. Very few guys have put tires on yet.
Well, a little wiggle there from Crafton as Christopher Bell got into the back end of the 88. You know, it's hard to believe Crafton in 15 previous races here had only led 2 laps here at Daytona prior to tonight, and he's been out front for 5 laps now, so already a lot more, but boy, they've been nervous laps led.
I love Crafton. He's got the experience. And look at Christopher Bell right there, give him that push. He has gotten so much tutelage from Kyle Busch as to how to bounce off the back of Matt and not disrupt his truck. You can see the knowledge these young kids have gained already, leaning on their veteran racers that are also owners in the truck series.
How about Terrio with a little push from Cameron Haley? Terrio in that 2 truck. Cameron Haley, that 13, pushed Terrio out to the lead. Now he jumps down in front of Crafton.
Really impressed with Austin Terrio, the 3rd truck in the Brad Keselowski Racing stable here at Daytona, but he has been strong throughout practice.
Didn't they tell Terrio that if he won this race, he might get to run more?
Yes, they did.
It's good incentive, right?
He must really believe that.
On board with Johnny Sauter.
Look at Ben Rhodes. Look at Daniel Suarez. Look at those trucks pounding into each other. How do they keep doing this and not mess up?
And remember, 13 of these drivers have never been in a truck here. at this racetrack.
And you know what that means, Phil? They've never seen anything like this. You can describe it until you've been out there in the middle of it. You just won't believe how intense it is.
I think the side drafting is where we're going to get in trouble. When these guys try to side draft to keep that other line from going forward, I think that's when we're going to have problems, because these trucks just don't follow a straight line. They bounce around a little bit.
And it's all one pack. And you can see how the outside line is just diving right over at that inside line, trying to slow their momentum. You can really stall out a truck if you're able to get yours in the right position, preferably on that right rear quarter panel. You can take all his momentum away. See Cameron Haley, he's stuck out there. It's the first time we've really seen this much of a lead for that inside line, Phil.
Yeah, John West Townley, that black number 05 right behind Cameron Haley. He's tucked right up underneath that truck, so it's not like there was a big gap.
Shows you how important having a fast truck is to lead that outside line. Seems like just an average truck can't make things happen out there.
Out the back end of Johnny Sauter's truck. Moved over to GMS Racing. Teammates with Grant Enfinger and Spencer Gallagher. The 9 of William Byron, K&N East Series champion a year ago. Timothy Peters just ahead of him.
William, we're doing a great job here, staying up in the top 10 right now, running in the 6th spot. Well, that's what they would love to see, is that inside line just line up like that. But those guys on the outside aren't going to let it happen.
And if you're William Byron, 18 years old, getting your feet wet here at Daytona, you're stuck between Timothy Peters and Johnny Sauter. You're riding in a pretty nice place. His spotter's saying, just stay right there. Do whatever you do to block that low line and ride right behind Peters and ahead of Sauter.
And what a great opportunity for William Byron, driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Rudy Fugle, our championship-winning crew chief from last year, calling the shots.
And he's earned that opportunity with the success in the lower levels of NASCAR. He's raced himself in a position to be in a truck with Liberty University on the side of it, a Toyota for Kyle Busch Motorsports. That's progress right there.
The caution clock nearing 5 minutes. Let's see what they're thinking on pit road. William Byron with a huge save in that 9 truck. Wow. Wow. I don't know how he collected it.
That was close.
Let's go downstairs to Caitlin Vincey.
Well, Vince, as you mentioned, the caution clock starting to wind down. The 29 of Tyler Reddick, the only truck who has not pitted yet tonight, as crew chief saying on the radio, they will likely have to pit under caution. Now, as far as his teammate, Austin Terrio in that 2 car, they feel like they have a little bit of wiggle room to play with in their pit window because they did top off with fuel on that last stop. Matt.
The caution clock opens up a lot of opportunity as far as strategy goes. Junior Joyner, do you think we're going to see people play it straight up with the caution clock, or do you think we'll see short pitting?
I think some of the guys are going to come a little bit early. I think we're just going to feel it out here and see what happens. I don't want to get run over out back, so us and the 4 are working real good together. Me and Jerry are talking, so we're going to keep these Tundras up front and see how it goes. Maybe we'll get creative in the end.
Hermie?
Jerry Baxter, about 4 minutes ago on the caution clock, you guys going to run all the way to the 4 minutes or maybe come a little bit early?
I think I'm gonna run it out. It's 4 minutes, 4 seconds to go. I think I'm gonna run it out, and let's. This is the first time that this is gonna happen or possibly happen. So we'll see how it goes. Pack like this tight, being the leader, I don't want to get ran over.
That's Jerry Baxter.
Yeah, that's a big concern. Anytime you have a green flag stop, Vince, it's certainly challenging because they're all running right where the lane you come off the track to pit in, and inevitably someone will run into the back of another. If you're leading the race and decide to dart on the pit road, you better make sure you're well off turn 4 when you make that turn to the left.
I thought it was interesting. You heard Junior Joyner, the crew chief for the 88 truck of Matt Crafton, talking about his communication with Jerry Baxter, the crew chief on the 4s. You see William Byron make that great save.
Wow.
But even though they're not teammates, they're still communicating because they're running one right in front of the other on the track.
An amazing save by William Byron.
Wow.
Pretty fortunate he had a veteran like Johnny Sauter behind him.
You know, you talk about Junior Joyner and Jerry Baxter communicating, Vince. It's because they're both veterans. They've been in that garage area a long time, and they know the 2 of them working together, they can figure out who's going to win later. But to get a chance to win, they need to be friends.
Junior Joyner told me that Jerry Baxter had babysat him before because Jerry Baxter and his father worked together.
That's awesome.
That was a long time ago, though.
These guys are wiggling. These tires are getting older. Remember that clock's running down. We're down to 2 minutes, and we're going to get fresh tires, and I hope we get them before something goes wrong, because these trucks are looser now because the tires are worn, and you can see a lot of bobbing and weaving.
Austin Terrio at the head of the line. Now you see the pack about 5 trucks back, 2 wide.
How about our man Cameron Haley? He's hanging in there on that outside, making some progress now, driving around Peters, bringing John West Townley with him.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes now on the caution clock. Remember, that clock started at 20 minutes, and if it goes uninterrupted, caution free for 20 minutes, when that clock strikes 0, we're going to have a caution on the track.
I really believe some of these guys are going to pit before that clock runs out to try to catch it maybe when they're on pit road, when the caution comes out, slows the field down. They're able to get back on the racetrack on the lead lap, and they will be ahead of everybody that pits after the caution comes out.
It's going to be this lap if some of them do it, guys, and you just have to watch people ducking out of line and not getting run over. Junior Joyner, Jerry Baxter, they both talk about it. We've all seen it, but somehow it still seems to happen. They're going to pit here. Hopefully nobody messes up.
We've seen so many accidents come when people start slowing to pit road. The guy 7 rows back really doesn't see that happen. Here they come.
The first to peel off is Ben Kennedy.
42.50 up here. 42.51.
Rico Abreu. Yeah, no way Rico was not speeding when he entered pit road.
So there's Rico Abreu in that 98 truck, and as you indicated, certainly looked as though he was speeding as he came across and passed Ben Kennedy and Timothy Peters.
They might as well go ahead and do his pit work. He's going to have to serve a penalty. Go ahead and get it done. Get your tires, get full of fuel. Ben Kennedy doing the same thing. Looked like Ben got down, though, to speed.
Phil, this would have been the lap to pit, though, right?
Yes.
Because if you came right now, while you're on pit road, the caution's going to come out, and the field will be slowed down. Looks like everybody's going to get off pit road without losing a lap, but this would be another opportunity to make your pit stop.
I would have wanted to be on pit road when the caution flag comes out. Look here, we're going to have an accident like we were talking about.
It's the 18 of Cody Coughlin, and the 23 collects Christopher Bell.
It happens all the time when you do that.
The big question is how much damage. Looks like some pretty significant damage to the 18 of Coughlin and the 23, obviously, of Spencer Gallagher.
Yeah, Coughlin looked like just ran into Gallagher and then caused a mess for Christopher Bell, who thought he was just free and clear onto pit road.
Michael, you made a great point. You said you got to get to pit road without getting run over, and that's quite the challenge when you're coming to pit road under green under these conditions.
It shows you how difficult this is, guys, because we talk about how much they've got to watch themselves getting onto pit road, but yet we still can't do it.
Kyle Busch, you saw the shot of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. He's the team owner for this 18 of Cody Coughlin.
And the 4 of Christopher Bell, who was also involved. Not a good pit stop for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Junior Joyner told us they think we were going to just play it straight, stay out till it comes out. He's on the racetrack, no damage.
He's on the racetrack, no damage, but there's going to be a lot of trucks ahead of him now who were able to pull off their pit stops before this caution flew.
That didn't get wrecked.
Yeah, it looked like, as you on board here with Matt Crafton, looked like Christopher Bell had some damage behind that left rear. To check and see if that's going to be anything of significance or what the crew thought of it as they took a look at it.
That was the time to pit. They were going to be on pit road. The caution flag was going to come out. The field was going to slow. They were going to get back on the racetrack without losing a lap, be ahead of every single truck that came back to pit road under the caution, but some of them got wrecked.
Isn't it kind of ironic? The caution clock sort of caused a caution.
And it didn't expire. It did not expire. There were.
Look at flat tires for William Byron. That problem, both front tires flat.
Take a look at it, and this is as they're trying to get down to pit lane and get down to speed.
Watch the yellow truck of right there. Cody Coughlin. He ran into the back of Spencer Gallagher, and that caused that mess. And you can see the 9 truck of Byron sliding his tires. He should have come on to pit road. That would have been a free pit stop for him. Now he's having to do it and lose all his track position. But you see, was there contact into the back of the 18?
Looked like Ben Rhodes maybe in the 41 truck ran in the back of Cody Coughlin. So
How
Christopher
bad is,
Bell gets some damage there.
Oh, look at Sauter tiptoe through there.
Here's Cody Coughlin right along. Listen. was definitely some contact from the back. Then he was along for the ride, got into the inside wall pretty hard.
But watch Sauter. This is an experienced veteran. He knows. Look how far to the left he is. That's where you want to be, except for a truck comes sliding by him on the inside. 2 trucks.
Unbelievable job by Johnny Sauter. What a veteran move by him. Then he had to avoid Suarez on the outside.
Sauter was on the left side trying to stay away from it and had 2 of them slide by him on the left side. Another near miss.
Coughlin was wide open when he noticed that the truck ahead of him, Gallagher, was slowing for pit road. I think he backed off. Don't know if he could have avoided hitting the 23 truck or not, but he got hit from behind. It looked like maybe by Ben Rhodes as well.
We talked about some of these drivers that have never been through anything like this. They did a great job racing out the racetrack. We came to pit road, and unfortunately, that's when we see the problems.
What has he gathered up there, Phil?
It looks like a lot of dirt there on the front of that Silverado.
I always said Daytona and Eldora have a lot in common. The way
they both have some dirt.
They have a lot of dirt, and there's always a tight pack racing toward the front, and a lot of action.
You don't think you're going to need a shovel when you come to the race, but you never know.
Isn't that NASCAR racing at its best? Okay, checklist, you got the shovel, right?
Yeah, we got baseball bats, sledgehammers, shovels.
That's the 18 of Cody Coughlin that they're taking a look at. Wow, it has been exciting. Austin Terrio, the leader at Daytona.
My fellow Americans.
Back at Daytona, approaching the halfway mark in the season opener. Caitlin Vinci.
Well, Austin Terrio has spent much of this race up front. He told me he didn't even get any drafting practice in at practice because the primary car was so good. He's come down pit road now for a 4-tire stop. Now we take a look at John Hunter Nemechek in the middle of your screen. He has not given much feedback over the radio. Pretty pleased with his truck. It's going to be fuel and 4 tires for him.
Matt Crafton was pleased with that 88 truck. He just wanted a small fine-tuning change, an air pressure adjustment in the front to work a little bit more tightness into the nose of that 88.
Matt Crafton taking 4 tires, was the first one off pit road. Lots of drivers getting 4. This is why we were yellow right here.
Hello.
Back at Daytona for the season opener of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's a 100-lapper, 250 miles. We're almost halfway, lap 46, under yellow for the 3rd time tonight. Cody Coughlin was involved in that accident that brought out the yellow. He's with Matt Yoakum.
His truck is being pushed back to the Truck Series garage. And Cody, can you walk us through what happened?
Yeah, you know, everybody's all tight, you know, here at Daytona, going wide open, and you don't lift, and they just stopped in front of me. I'm watching the replay here and see. I tried my best to stay off of the 23 there, but they just checked up so hard I couldn't stay off them, and I got hit from behind. So I'm not going to pretend to be excited or optimistic about it, because it's not a positive thing, and there's nothing really we can take away from that in a good way. But just happy that Jags and Spillfix were on the car, or the truck rather, for tonight, and let's go to the next one.
Communication with the spotters trying to relay who's going to pit and who isn't going to pit. Were you told that the folks in front of you were going to be pitting?
I just was told, you know, some guys peeled off the last lap and they might be doing the same, but you know, we're up on the racetrack under green conditions, so you don't let off because you think somebody might be pitting because you're on the racetrack. You expect them, you know, to get below the line, but I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm just saying it's one of those deals. Everybody's close together and we made contact, and sucks that that we got hit. Yep.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, it sounded like when we first started the interview that he really wasn't that aware, I think, that the people in front of him were going to pit,
which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Hermie.
Vince, the 4 truck of Christopher Bell has been to pit road about 4 different times under this caution. The first time they came down pit road, it was before pit road was actually open. You can see trying to get down pit road to miss some of the action, and got hit right there in the left rear quarter panel area, and that is really the only damage on the 4 truck. They got away relatively in pretty good shape, all things considered. Jerry Baxter, his focus was just make sure that quarter panel behind the left rear tire is not, in his words, a parachute. So they worked on it a couple times. He will start in the back, but overall, they came out of that pretty good.
There's the 00 of Cole Custer, penalized for an uncontrolled tire.
You see that man from the 81 of Ryan Truex roll on that tire. That was from the 00 truck. That's an uncontrolled tire.
So he'll go to the tail end.
That's a lot of contact on that Ford truck on pit road. It'd be interesting to see if they've made enough repairs to it to stay in this battle.
The caution clock resets at 20 minutes. And we're ready to restart with Timothy Peters on the inside, Daniel Hemrick on the outside. Peters in that white 17 truck. Ben Kennedy right behind him.
New crew chief for Peters. Shane Huffman calling the shots. Peters has been working out, really focused on this 2016 season.
How about Crafton pushing Hemrick there? Matt Crafton has been pretty close to the front since the drop of this green flag.
And that makes a lot of sense because Crafton talked yesterday about how fast this 88 truck was, how much he was looking forward to this race.
And how about Scott Lagasse Jr. didn't get a lap in practice, and here he is running up there in the top 5 or 6 trucks.
And no surprise too, he had a top 5 finish here last year, finished 3rd in this race.
What about Jordan Anderson? You see him there in the 66 truck. He's raced his way into the top 10. Barely made this race. The reason why he got in the race was because a fast truck of Ben Kennedy had a problem qualifying. That put the 66 of Jordan Anderson in the Columbia, South Carolina, famously hot truck into the field.
And Ben Kennedy had to start from the very back because he didn't qualify. And where is he now? Running second.
And there's Austin Wayne Self in that 22, another rookie making his debut. Running 11th for the 22 of Austin Wayne Self.
That's some intense action. How much work are these drivers doing? Let's look at the replay here of Jordan Anderson. He's trying to work the draft. He's going to bump. He's going to bump. But he also knows he's got to get off that guy. Look at the brakes light up and glow. And there's stuff going on at every moment of this race, and these guys have to be virtually perfect.
We used to come to these racetracks and run speedway brakes, very little brakes on these because we didn't want the rolling resistance. Now when you see situations like that and them coming to pit road, we almost run short track brakes here.
You got to have stopping power. It's important to get to pit road aggressively, and you got to be aggressive in the draft with your pushing and using that brake pedal.
2 wide, 10, 11 rows back.
A couple teammates on the outside, couple teammates on the inside.
Just past the halfway mark here at Daytona in the season opener. Let's go downstairs to Caitlin.
Well, Daniel Hemrick started 18th, but has worked his way up into the top 5. One of the guys who's with a new team this season and a new crew chief. His crew chief, Chad Kendrick, told me they've been building a very good relationship. Daniel comes by the shop every single day to work with the team and watch film. And as far as his truck goes today, Daniel said he didn't feel like he had good single truck speed, but it would perform well in the draft. And he is right in the mix, guys.
Coming by the shop every day, that's Daniel Hemrick. He's a racer. He built his own cars. He ran Legends cars. He's run late models. He knows the relationship with that team is as important as any part or piece on that truck. And look where he's at. We knew in 2016 that Daniel Hemrick would be a factor, and he's proven it right off the bat here at Daytona.
I've just been so impressed with Terrio, though. The job he's done since the drop of this green flag been so strong. He's another one of those guys that's been up near the front this entire race, as well as that 17 of Timothy Peters and Matt Crafton we talked about earlier.
And Ben Kennedy from the back to the front. He's been there all night long. And now we're going to see John Hunter Nemechek come into the play as well. He's running in the 4th spot on the inside.
How about Ryan Truex, that blue and yellow number 81 with Goodyear on it? Oh, he's up here in the top 10.
And my buddy Chris Fontaine, the guy that always shows up at the front of these plate races at Daytona and Talladega, he's there again. So many great stories in the field here.
Terrio leads the pack. Timothy Peters, Ben Kennedy, Daniel Hemrick, John Hunter Nemechek, Matt Crafton all right there. There's the 19 of Hemrick.
They're jamming up there a little bit. Look like Hemrick may have had a problem. Matt Crafton's going to jump to the outside. Do you think he's bailing out of this draft, Michael?
He didn't like what he saw there, and I didn't either. Trucks were bobbing and weaving everywhere. Maybe Matt senses that this thing's getting ready to go wrong fast, and he doesn't want to be in the middle of it.
Christopher Bell had to catch it.
That looked serious.
That's Bobby Gerhardt, that 36 Lucas Oil truck right behind him.
Watch Christopher Bell save it.
He's in the middle of the pack. Looked like maybe a little contact from the 05 of John West Townley. What an amazing save by Bell.
Does that remind you of his owner, Kyle Busch, in the Sprint Unlimited just a couple years ago? Crashed in turn 4. Oh, wait a minute. He didn't crash. He saved it, and he won the race. Bell makes that same type of save that man, Kyle Busch, made. Maybe he comes back to win this race. He's been in a wreck on pit road. He almost crashed in turn 1. Sometimes when you miss tragedy at Daytona, you come back and win.
Bell's used to having that back end up sideways when he's in a sprint car or midget, but it's not supposed to be that way when you're in one of these trucks.
Well, he's comfortable with it sideways.
Matt Crafton has gone all the way to the back, almost to the very back end. Let's check in with Matt Yoakum.
He was trying to dip out that nose to get some air into that grill to try to cool the temperatures. It was up over 250. When he finally pulled out, as you mentioned, lost the draft and dropped all the way back to 16. Now 17. Junior Joyner telling him, no worries, we'll get it back.
On board with Tyler Reddick as you see Crafton go by on the inside.
Tyler Reddick had an incredible run going. John West Townley pulled up to block him. Tyler Reddick looked like he was running 10 miles an hour faster than the entire field. He's going to jump to the outside again.
It just doesn't work when you go up there by yourself.
Get there until you get by him.
Can he get some help?
2 inside. 2 inside.
It's just not going to work.
Going by himself.
2 inside. Just 2 inside still now. 2 inside. 2 inside. 2 inside. 2 inside.
Did you see Crafton? He saw Townley make the move to the inside. He went way under the yellow line. He didn't want to chance Townley not knowing he was there. You can see what happened to Reddick, trying to make that move 3 wide on the outside. That just won't work. It's too far around on the high side. You can keep up in the middle, but not 3 wide on the outside.
So we've gone from double file 10 rows deep, now single file.
I think we should take a break, Vince. I'm nervous.
Catch your breath. We're going to be back, but it's going to stay exciting, I guarantee it. Back at Daytona, it's the season opener for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. 60 laps of 100. When we left you, they were single file.
About 15 trucks deep, single file.
And now they're 2 wide, 6 or 7 rows deep, and it just keeps getting more exciting and more dangerous as we go. Johnny Sauters, that green truck in front. Austin Terrio, who's led the most laps tonight, 31 laps, is in that blue number 2, and Cameron Haley on the outside in the white 13.
Remember when Sauter played the game earlier, moving from inside to outside to try to block off the runs? He wound up shucked out of the lead. They took him 3 wide.
Took him, what, 10, 15 laps to get back up front?
So many great stories here at Daytona. Johnny Sauter, new team. A lot of the people in the garage area said Sauter's a truck to beat. He's proven to be strong. Austin Terrio, I don't think anybody would have said he would have led the most laps at this point in the race, but there he is. New sponsor on the hood of that Timothy Peters truck, SRI on there. He's racing toward the front.
Timothy Peters running 3rd, and that's 17. More on him with Matt Yoakum.
Vince, so much conversation around the field with the spotters, especially about which lane do you want to be in, on the bottom or up high. This is recent conversation with Timothy Peters and his spotter.
I told the 11 we were just content right here. If you change your mind, I want to try and do something, you let me know. 10 for stay put.
Love that. Yeah, well, that's why he's won here and he's won at Talladega, because he does remain calm.
And you could tell by his voice, he was just, I'm here, I'm going to stay here.
Look at that run that Cameron Haley gets with a push from Ryan Truex. And how about behind Ryan Truex, that black and white truck? That's Parker Kligerman. He's a former winner at Talladega in the Truck Series.
He won the race and then planted his flag in the infield.
He claimed it. He claimed that infield for his.
He claimed that race that day.
There he is, that 92 truck for Ricky Benton. BTS tire.
What a great story, too, on the inside of Kligerman is that 66 of Jordan Anderson.
Love that kid. He has tried so hard to put himself in this position. And Phil, he talks about wanting to be up front and wanting to race and have fun. Is he having fun now?
He's having a blast, I think.
I just wonder if it's just so nerve-wracking right now he can't enjoy the moment. I always noticed after these races it was fun after the race. During it, it was a whole lot like work.
Yeah. This may not be, as you see, Austin Theriault gets shuffled to the outside. This race may not be physically demanding, but it's mentally exhausting.
Look at the push that Truex is putting on Cameron Haley, and that truck is sideways. Oh, so close.
Johnny Sauter doing a great job keeping the pack behind him.
Yeah, but that's why Theriault got shucked back. Sauter's all over the place. He makes the wrong move by an inch or two. We could see the leader crash. Look at Peters, just calm and collected, riding right behind the truck of Johnny Sauter.
Sauter won here in 2013. Peters, a winner here in 2010. Peters been runner-up a couple of times here at Daytona.
Johnny did his best to keep those trucks behind him, but Cameron Haley now is dead even with Johnny.
Oh,
Johnny
Sauter.
sideways! What a save by Johnny Sauter.
Just got loose. We'll gather it back up. Good save. 66 in line with you. Keep working it.
We have seen some amazing saves tonight.
Look at him 3 wide there.
Sauter just got a real big side draft down in turns 3 and 4, and when he came off the corner it just pulled him around sideways, but he's got it gathered up now. Here comes a big pack of trucks snarling toward the front. Check out how tight this side draft was, Phil.
Now watch that green truck right there. You see John Hunter Nemechek, the 8 truck, right beside him. It just pulled him over to him. Moved Johnny up the racetrack a little bit.
He was coming too quick just like that. He was 2 rows back like the 88. Just keep digging that bottom. Got the 17. He'll be a good pusher.
Heard Johnny have to get out of the throttle to save that truck.
Good save. Just got loose. We'll gather it back up. Good save. 66 in line with you.
Watch this side draft. You see how tight on the outside Haley was? And that just sent Johnny loose.
We've got a caution.
It's crazy you can spin out another truck without even touching them, but that's what you can do here at Daytona.
Just with the air.
Our 4th caution of the night for debris in turn 4.
How cool would it be to see Ben Kennedy get the win here at Daytona? His family's so much a part of us being here tonight, and he's running so strongly.
It was his great-grandfather's vision that built this place back in 1959.
There's the debris. They're going to pick it up. Avoid it. Don't run over it. We'll come back. Cameron Haley's the leader.
National Speedway are coming down pit road. Take a look at the 81 truck of Ryan Truex in the top of your screen. He's racing for Hattori Racing Enterprises. Told me in qualifying he hopes if they have a good run today, they can get more races in the future. He's doing a right side stop only. Matt.
And Timothy Peters took fuel only. They told him don't slide the tires. He's slid the right front just a little bit. They made an air pressure change, or they called that off. What they did was to free him up, they kept the old tires and then they added fuel.
Whew. And this should get everyone in their pit window. Right now we have 33 laps to go. We know they can go from anywhere from 33 to 38, so this should be our final necessary pit stop.
What about these truckers? We're getting ready to ramp up the action. It's going to get crazy, and Timothy Peters says I need to be looser. Let's get it looser somehow.
How about Cameron Haley and Grant Enfinger? Hermie?
Well, Vince, the 13 of Cameron Haley came down pit road. These guys put 2 right side tires on, no adjustments. Really like their track position, want to get at it as soon as possible. The 33 of Grant Enfinger came down pit road. They got fuel only, got him back on the racetrack. We'll see how it shakes out once everybody gets settled back on the racetrack.
Well, we know they can get to the end from here. They should. It's going to be exciting going to the finish at Daytona. I love this view. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Boy, you think it's fun tonight. We're going to have some more fun next weekend in Atlanta. Can't wait to get there.
One of my favorite racetracks in all the world here. We're going to have it all. We're going to have 3 practice sessions on Friday. We're going to have a doubleheader on Sunday, all on FS1. We're going to have the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series.
Saturday, the Xfinity Series first, then the Camping World Truck Series, and of course we're going to have a lot of fun watching the racing, and then they're going to run the Cup race on Sunday.
Think about some of the finishes we've had at Atlanta. 2 wide, 3 wide, guys spinning, crashing, just amazing racing at Atlanta.
Looked at the forecast. If you're anywhere near Atlanta, come on out this next weekend.
Sunny and in the 50s, maybe even into the low 60s.
Yes.
Ed Clark, the president of that racetrack, he just is so accommodating, does everything he can to make sure everybody comes out and has a good time. Saw some really nice ticket prices on the internet, so pick up a ticket and come see us.
Sunny and 60 at Atlanta, that's reason to show up right there, isn't it? Then you get the great show to boot, huh?
Yes.
All right, there's the. I can't wait for Atlanta, but there's 31 laps to go. And
You're not excited about these 31
I'm
laps,
apart over here, boys. Please work with me. Look what's happened already, and we're not even close to halfway when some of this goes on. Look at William Byron, does an amazing job saving that 9 truck. Watch his hands in there, all over the place. Where do you learn that at, Phil?
I don't know. Had a veteran, Johnny Sauter. How about Christopher Bell when he gets a little bit of a nudge from John West Townley? What a save for him.
All those trucks behind him just knew they had crashed, but somehow they all make it. But watch our leader. You can't be leading the race and almost crash. Yes, you can at Daytona, and that's what almost happened to Sauter.
Saving at about 190 mile an hour.
Yeah, and let's go green.
Without a doubt.
Do it all again. I hope you are enjoying this. It's making me nervous.
Pace truck is off. Timothy Peters on the inside and Tyler Reddick on the outside. Green at Daytona.
Peters is wanting a push from Haley so they can get out in front, try to ride for 20 laps. He's hoping he could just ride for some amount of laps without being side by side and 3 wide.
It hasn't happened for more about 3 or 4 laps this entire race.
I just don't see it, but I mean, I'm sure he's an eternal optimist. He's like, we can clear these guys and settle it among ourselves.
You see the caution clock rolling again in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Don't expect it to come into play because remember, with 20 to go, the caution clock is shut off and no longer in effect. And by the time we get to 20 to go, it's not going to be anywhere near 0.
How about that run Tyler Reddick had with that push from Grant Enfinger? He may have too big of a lead. They're going to have some momentum when they get to him. Timothy Peters fighting on the inside.
Yeah, but I just don't see jumping to the outside, Phil, because they're going to fall back if guys don't go with them. So I think pulling in behind Reddick was the right call there for Enfinger. Nice move.
And that kept him from losing a lot of ground to Timothy Peters.
You got to be patient. That was a great sign of a young man with a fast truck showing patience. Had the speed to drive on the outside of the truck he was catching, but elected to duck in behind him.
That's Tyler Reddick in the blue truck. Won this race a year ago. Only one other driver has won this race more than once. That was Todd Bodine. Did it back-to-back years. Reddick trying to do the same. But we've got a long way to go. 29 laps remaining.
It's a long way to go. You're right.
It looks a lot like the start of the race. Now, different characters up front, but just side by side about, what, 15 rows deep.
Top speed about 185 miles an hour down into the corner.
They've averaged 193 in this race, almost 194.
Wow.
The fastest laps in this race.
Wow. How do they do that side by side?
Zero room for error.
Yes, and inevitably someone is going to get too aggressive and get a truck sideways and cause the big one.
Well, after that caution and the round of pit stops, let's check in down on pit road and catch up with some of the stories that's happening down there, beginning with Matt Yoakum.
Vince, now here's the good news for Timothy Peters as he chases his second Daytona win. He is good to go to lap 100, the advertised race distance. The bad news, if we go into overtime, he's in trouble. He doesn't have enough fuel. Caitlin?
Well, Tyler Reddick, the current race leader, came down pit road for a gas and go. I just asked his crew chief, Doug Randolph, if he would be good for the end of the race, 100, just as you spoke of, Matt. He said yes. Beyond that, he's not sure. Hermie?
Caitlin, the 13 of Cameron Haley, appears to be good for 1 green-white checker. Remember, they took 2 right side tires, took a little bit extra fuel, packed it tight. on his last pit stop. They feel good about one green-white checker, as does the 33 of Grant Enfinger. They took no tires, but full of fuel. They are also good, they say, for one green-white checker.
But, Phil, I think all that'll go out the window. There's going to be some caution laps between here and the end, and that'll get these guys the extra fuel they need to run a couple of green-white checkers, I believe.
Yeah, and remember, the overtime rules have changed somewhat, too, so
we're going to have repeated attempts to get a clean restart. That means they throw the green, we make it to the back straightaway without a problem. After that happens, the next flag ends the race. So that'll be a little bit different, but not dramatically different. If you're a crew chief, though, you gotta think about that. There could be many attempts to get that last restart.
Well, because if the leader doesn't get to that overtime line before caution comes out, we can have unlimited attempts at a clean restart. And that's a lot of extra laps potentially.
Like a strategy move there by Townley to move up.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes went through the middle there.
That didn't work. Really impressed with the job that Reddick's doing. Won here a year ago, but he's just been patient and consistently staying in that outside line. We saw Johnny Sauter when he was in the lead, moving back and forth, trying to block guys. Reddick has just decided to stay high and keep Enfinger behind him, and it's working. Peters is down on the low side. He can get there, but he can't clear him.
You know, to add to that conversation, Michael, when you made the comment about we're going to have other yellows, so they should be okay with fuel. There have been at least 2 cautions in the final 25 laps in each of the last 7 races here, and that's where we are now. 25 to go at Daytona.
Lowe's presents Smokey Unick, who had the best damn garage in town in Daytona Beach here, as well as the Aero Wars of the late 60s when we had the big wing cars and the Torino Talladegas, and a great story on Sterling Marlin as well.
Here's why we are under caution. Jordan Anderson came to a stop in turn 4.
That's a sad story there. Ran up in the top 5. The best performance we've seen from Jordan Anderson. Got some funding from Columbia, South Carolina. Showed that with funding he can do the job. He had that truck up in the front, and unfortunately something's broken on it. That's a shame.
Yeah, this was a tough field to make too. A lot of good drivers didn't make this field. Jordan Anderson was able to do it.
Remember, we started 43 trucks in the entry list here this weekend. 32 truck field. So as you said, Phil, it was tough just to get in.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Much less to survive once you've gotten in, and we've seen some incredible saves tonight. And how about, you know, we talk about how difficult it is in traffic. Watch the 13 and kind of little bumper cars here.
He's got Timothy Peters at 17 in front of him, Ryan Truex 81 behind him, and it looks like a pinball.
Yeah, that's no way for those Americans to be treating that Canadian guy. He's getting bounced all over the place.
You saw the debris come off. Watch the debris come off the nose here after this contact.
Looks like maybe part of the grill.
You know what's sad about that?
It's going to fly off this truck.
Yeah. That's what you have to do to win. That's actually, it looks aggravating, but it's exactly what the 13 truck needs. Cameron Haley needs those bumps and those pushes.
When you're Cameron Haley in that situation, Michael, how abrasive is the hit? Or do you really feel
the thing that you feel is when they knock you sideways. If you're going straight and the hits are straight, it doesn't bother you at all. You say, come on, buddy. But if he starts hitting you in the wrong place and getting that truck wiggling around, then you look closely in your mirror and see who that is and tell your spotter, either tell him to learn how to push or quit it. And that's the problem. You can't pick your partners. You've got to go with whoever's near you or behind you.
Well, let's get more on this story in the 13 of Cameron Haley with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, the biggest cheerleader on pit road the last couple of laps has been Eddie Troconis, the crew chief for Cameron Haley. Your driver's doing a good job. First of all, on your fuel, if we go past the advertised distance, how are you guys setting up for a green and white checker potentially?
Well, you know, it's always a gamble, the fuel mileage, you know. I think we're good. We're like 2 or 3 laps to the good. We keep telling him to save fuel, and that's when, like, you don't know how much you have. You know, you're just going to have to gamble it. But I think we have a pretty good truck, good Toyota Tundra here. I mean, he's been really aggressive. I mean, they're really not giving much room. The outside lane is working today, so hopefully we get something for them.
That's it. Eddie Troconis. He is a crew chief on the 13. Caitlin?
Truex in that 81 truck finds himself in the top 5. He has not raced in the Truck Series since this race here at Daytona in 2014. So he's been chatting with his spotter, getting a little advice on how to handle his truck in the draft.
I'm running the second line up the track a little bit so they can't side draft me off the corner so I can get to the 13 and actually push him. The problem is the 17 is kind of all over the place. and have him spin the 17 out, so I'm just being cautious.
Everybody's all over the place there, Ryan. You're going to have that even worse as we wind these laps down.
You know, Caitlin mentioned he hadn't been here in a couple years, but he did finish in the top 5 when he was here 2 years ago.
You know, you remember earlier, Buddy Cisco, Austin Terrio's crew chief, he says, son, save me fuel from the beginning. Every race is a fuel mileage race. The more fuel you can save in a truck like this EcoBoost Ford of Tyler Reddick, the more you'll have at the end of the race in order to make shorter pit stops. They need that fuel precious right now.
Yeah, Timothy Peters is a guy that, other than right now, saving fuel under this caution, he's been out front the entire time.
20 laps to go. Remember, the caution clock shut off at 20, so that will not come into effect as we look at our Ford facts.
Remember, one of those wins for Tyler Reddick was right here at Daytona last year, and that broke a string of 8 consecutive wins for Toyota in this race.
And Chevrolet has never won the Truck Series race here at Daytona. Hard to believe. Our Camping World 20 to go. It's going to be exciting. It has been exciting. The first 80 have been thrilling. We know the last 20 are going to put us on the edge of our seats. Timothy Peters in the 17 truck is the leader. More on him with Matt.
He loves how his truck is reacting to the draft up at the point, but his team told him you have to go in the max fuel saving mode under this caution, because while you were out front, you had picked up a lot more speed, thus burning more fuel. So try to save as much as you can possibly save under this caution.
This 17 truck took it to the wind tunnel, put it on 7-post. I mean, they really have worked hard to make this truck something to deal with here at Daytona, and they've accomplished that.
It certainly has. It's been up front the entire time, and I think if we've learned anything over the past week or so, the race isn't over till the absolute last lap, because we've had, what, 2 wrecks in our 3 or 4 races so far in the last week on the last lap.
Average margin of victory here at Daytona, 0.125 seconds.
Yeah.
That's 125 thousandths of a second average margin of victory.
You can tell things are going to go wrong. If you're going to race that close together, something's going to go wrong.
Pace car is off. Peters on the inside. Haley on the outside. Green at Daytona with 19 to go.
Got to be perfect, Phil. Got to be perfect on these restarts. Hit your shifts. Hold your line. Get the right bumps, the right pushes. This has been one of the best truck races I've ever seen at Daytona. Usually there's a point in the race where you can relax and breathe for a while. We haven't seen that tonight.
How about Suarez and Crafton jump to the top? Christopher Bell's going to move up in front of them. That third lane got a little momentum going.
Bunch of Toyotas up there.
We haven't seen 3 lanes, certainly not this far back at all tonight.
Well, if you're Matt Crafton, you got to go. He's had a fast truck. Oh, look at the near miss there.
This isn't going to work.
Not at all. We could barely keep them straight with 2 lines. How are we going to do it with 3?
We've had this kind of racing the entire race, and the only accident we've really had was on pit road.
The first truck in that 3rd line is Christopher Bell. He's got Daniel Suarez right behind him, and then Matt Crafton is the 3rd truck in line there on that 3rd row.
This is unprecedented. We've never seen 3 lanes work here in the Truck Series. You can see they're losing ground on the outside, but that's some strong trucks. They get tied together, and they're able to push. Look at that big push Suarez has given to Bell.
Pushed him sideways, too.
That's the orange truck pushing the black one.
Christopher Bell, the lead truck on that outside lane. Suarez is the orange truck, and then the bright yellow is Matt Crafton. Meanwhile, up front, it's Cameron Haley and Ryan Truex. Haley, the white truck on the inside.
Did you see that run that Parker Kligerman got up through the middle? He's right behind that silver and red number 41 of Ben Rhodes. He passed 4 or 5 trucks right through the middle. How about Matt Crafton now? He's going to jump down in the middle, right in behind Parker Kligerman in that 92 truck.
Matt said, I've had enough of that 3 wide on the high side. That didn't work. He was able to get down in line on the middle, but how are you going to win from there, Phil? There's going to have to be a caution in order for that truck to get to the front. It's just simply too hard to pass.
They hung Christopher Bell out on the outside when Crafton went in to the middle lane, and now Suarez is trying to make it happen.
How about Brandon Brown, that 86 truck? Haven't talked a whole lot about him. He's right up here in the mix. I think Daniel Suarez has lost his grill as well.
Wow.
Ryan Truex at the point for the first time tonight. The little brother of Martin Truex Jr.
What a great job that young man's doing. Doesn't get many opportunities, but he's showing that given the right opportunity, he can get the job done.
Boy, he stacked that outside lineup when he pulled up in front of Grant Enfinger. Look how tight they are.
I don't like that, Phil. I think golly, that's so difficult. That's how these Cup guys do it, though. You know, these guys are watching the Cup guys move from lane to lane. They said, that's what it takes to win. That's what I'm going to do. We saw Johnny Sauter do it pretty much unsuccessfully earlier. Now it's Truex trying it. There he goes again, but he's going to give up the outside.
15 to go at the line.
Couple GMS trucks lined up on the outside. Grant Enfinger, our pole sitter in the 33. Johnny Sauter, the 21, right behind him.
Sauter and Enfinger in those Chevrolets. You said they'd never won here at Daytona. Toyota 8 straight, a Ford last year. Chevrolet's at the front now.
Suarez still trying to make that outside work, trying to get some takers to go along with him.
Look at those trucks just snake down the back straightaway. Looks like there's some damage on the left front of Byron's truck, and you can see that tire shiny, like there's a rub there.
That happened when he came to pit road. Remember, locked the front brakes up while we were having that accident.
You saw that 2 truck of Austin Terrio. He's running 16th. He's led the most laps tonight. We've had 7 different lap leaders.
It's got to be frustrating for guys like Crafton back there who had a fast truck early. Now he can't make his way to the front because it's just a traffic jam up there.
Inside of 15 laps to go, Suarez continues to try that, make that outside work. Has Kligerman with him again.
Look at Crafton. He's going to get on the inside. He got a spot there. He was able to get to the inside. Is that Ben Rhodes? He chucked it out.
So now he's going to try to get to the inside of Cole Custer. He's going to gain some more ground. He has Brandon Brown, that 86 truck, pushing him.
Matt Crafton just bullied his way through there.
That's just bonus spots there. Those are spots you don't expect to get. You think that guy will keep that inside protected. He caught a couple of guys snoozing and grabbed their spots.
That was a veteran move by Crafton.
Totally.
And a potential being in contention at the end of this race move.
A game changer for that team. Sometimes special athletes take the game and put it on their shoulders. That move there showed that Crafton's ready to do just that.
The beginning of the show, we talked about the inexperienced drivers and what they were going to expect tonight, and they were going to be forced to deal with it. And the veterans, guys like Matt Crafton, and we've seen Crafton force his will on some of these young guys tonight.
Well, you can't. It's just a mixture. You've got it all, and there's no way to hide from either one. You're either going to have to push a rookie or get pushed by one.
10 different lap leaders, including those 2 guys at the front. Ryan Truex in the blue Toyota on the inside, Grant Enfinger on the outside in the yellow.
Watch this 41 truck. You can see him on the inside. He tries to get in a hole that wasn't quite there. Wow,
we've seen 19 of Daniel Hemrick close that hole up.
So many near misses.
At 41 is Ben Rhodes. Oh, contact again. 17 of Timothy Peters.
John Hunter Nemechek bounced off Peters.
10 rows deep, 2 wide. We've seen 3 wide. Suarez still trying to make that outside line work to get some help. It's just not happening.
It's crazy. I thought that the potent front row combo of Enfinger and Sauter would push around Ryan Truex, but Truex is hanging tough down there on the bottom.
Cameron Haley's done a great job pushing him. He's got Timothy Peters right behind him.
More on Ryan Truex with Caitlin.
Well, his spotter came across the radio and said, keep doing that mojo. We're going to finish this off and win this thing. Every time you do what you're doing, you're beating him to the line. Just stay at that yellow line.
Yeah, the 13 of Cameron Haley is going to have a lot to say about who wins this race if they keep going in this formation.
Says a lot about the youth of the sport. Now, granted, Grant Enfinger isn't quite as young as some of the others in the field, but he's a former ARCA champ. Ryan Truex, a 2-time K&N East champ. They've taken the path to get to this point, and now they're doing it on the big stage. 10 to go.
Can they make it 10 more laps?
No, I was just shocked they made it this far. That third line is a game changer. To me, they're up there making things even tighter with three wide racing.
Is that Cole Custer leading that line on the third line? It is. He has Suarez behind him now. At least Suarez has a little bit of help up there.
If you're Matt Crafton, Phil, do you dare duck out in front of Cole Custer and try to use that momentum and run that third lane to the front?
I think his spotter's going to keep an eye on him and see what kind of momentum they make.
It hasn't worked all night up there. They make a little bit of progress, but overall, they don't get far.
Ooh, Custer saved it. Big wiggle from the 00.
I tell you, we have had some amazing driving by these young drivers as well as our veterans.
Just an incredible job of synchronized driving, basically. They all want to win this race, and they all want to be up front, but there just isn't room to get there. Oh! Enfinger shuffled out by Sauter. I think Sauter gave him a push. He slid up high.
Now can Enfinger catch that third lane and make something happen?
He lost so much momentum.
He did lose a lot of ground.
They'll form up, maybe get a little bit of run going, but he lost a lot of momentum there. That moves Crafton up another spot.
Crafton is just such a cagey veteran. He's been so patient to work his way there and had to force the issue a couple of times. But watch this push that Sauter gives to his teammate. I think it knocks the 33, the champion truck just ahead, out of whack.
And what he's doing, he's trying to help. He's trying to help his teammate. Here's the bump coming right here. Gets him sideways.
Nothing you can do at that point. Sauter can't let off. That caused a big crash. Look at Enfinger. Oh, there it is.
Enfinger around, Cameron Haley around, Ben Kennedy.
They got us. All right.
Huge crash in turn 3 at Daytona with 8 to go.
I didn't see any way they could continue to run like that.
Look at Terrio, tore all to pieces back there. Fast truck.
Ben Kennedy involved, William Byron involved, Suarez, there's Chris Fontaine. Terrio with such a great truck.
What a great job that Ben Kennedy had been doing tonight. Found himself tore up. And look at Cameron Haley. He was the key to that inside line run into the front, and now he's crashed.
There's Tyler Reddick, who won this race a year ago. Not going to happen this time.
He can get a top 10, though, Vince. And that's what these guys are thinking. Let's just minimize the damage best we can and get out there and get a finish.
A lot of damage to that Jacob Toyota. Look at Austin Terrio's truck. So good, so strong this entire race.
There's the 22 of Austin Wayne Self, the young driver from Texas.
How about Grant Enfinger, a pole sitter?
How long did it take that wreck to develop? They started wrecking in the middle of the back straightaway, and they finally accomplished it as they got into turn 3.
I thought it took about 20 laps for it. It was developing for a long time, wasn't it?
92 laps.
Look at my palms. I mean, I'm sweating like I'm driving.
Cole Custer, his first race of his first full season.
He needs to cut that engine off. You can see that shiny left front tire.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, look at Crafton.
Really, it's amazing Crafton didn't get more damage than that. He did a heck of a job saving it.
He was right in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, the bad luck continues here at Daytona for Matt Crafton.
That team will have to make repairs, don't you think, Phil?
I think so. They have no left front fender, really.
So they've stopped the trucks on the back stretch as you see John West Townley out and walking toward Rico Abreu in the 98 as the red flag has come out with 7 to go.
John West Townley and Rico Abreu are thinking just what we are. What happened? How did that develop and how did that start? Fortunately, we got a lot of cameras on the action. We can dissect what initiated all the contact.
At least 13 trucks involved in this one.
And almost heavy damage on all those 13 trucks.
There's Daniel Suarez stepping up into the ambulance. Good to see him climb in under his own power. Watch it. Here's how it happened.
The 3 wide.
We knew 3 wide wasn't going to work, but it actually happened inside. It looked like the 17 of Peters might have gotten into the back end of the 13 of Cameron Haley.
And that was right beside Matt Crafton. He got, hard contact.
I thought maybe they had a chance to straighten it out, but then it just stacked everybody up so much. And about 3 or 4 rows back, they started wrecking.
You can't see, Phil. You don't know that those guys have gone out of control up ahead of you. You got the gas wide open, driving straight into the crash.
There was a push from Timothy, turned Cameron Haley sideways out on the outside of John Hunter Nemechek. And again, there it looks like they're almost straight, but now we're 6 and 7 wide.
Look at Chris Bell slipping through.
Well, this is going to be one of those races where you might look back as the winner or the top 2 or 3 finishers and say, whew, we dodged a couple of those. And we talked about this earlier in the show tonight.
We've seen it all night. Watch Peters hit. You can see he wasn't right behind the 13 of Haley and knocked him into John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek's able to continue, but behind them, what a mess.
Looked like it actually lifted the back end off of that 13 truck up off the ground.
Watch it from the onboard of the 88 of Matt Crafton.
It's 2 wide behind you. Nose to tail. Easy. 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide. Keep rolling, keep rolling. You good?
Yeah, I think Matt got the damage from the 86 of Brandon Brown.
Half. He's to him.
There's our forward onboard.
Keep coming low. Come on low. Keep coming outside. Coming. Bottoms out. Come on low. Come on.
I think he was going to be okay until Cole Custer bounced off the wall into him.
And just remember what we said. You're 6-8 rows back. You're still wide open while they're crashing. You can't see what's going on yet.
What a save by John Hunter Nemechek, though.
Was that Ben, another guy that did a masterful job driving through that mess, I think was Ben Rhodes. I saw him right in the center of the crash, and he drove out the other side of it.
So teams evaluating the damage. Remember, under red, you can't work on the trucks. There's that 41 of Ben Rhodes and the damage that he has sustained.
Some of that damage was from that earlier incident on pit road.
Austin Terrio's truck being towed out. Terrio's led the most laps tonight, 31, but his night is over. We've had 10 different leaders this evening.
See the damage to Hemrick's number 19. He has a lot of damage to that right rear quarter panel. There's Scott's Legacy's number 14.
Let's see some of the guys that make it through. Look at Ben Rhodes right here in the 41 truck. He is right behind
the 19 of Hemrick.
And look, the crash is directly in front of him.
Certainly all around him.
He bumps a guy. They come through. He gets. They just keep getting knocked out of his way, and he keeps driving. Wow.
Yeah, I think he had contact with at least 4 different trucks, though, and still made it through.
That was impressive.
Wow. Well, it's been crazy. We're currently under red. 7 to go. We'll settle it soon here at Daytona.
That's the talk in the pits, is the speed of that 88 car. Seems like that he's going to be the favorite when they throw the green flag on Sunday. He was impressive last night, wasn't he?
Sure was.
Taking the lead early. Just making some moves that we haven't seen made at Daytona in a while. Able to sweep low and pass by himself. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to use the air. He's simply one of the best ever at this place.
Let's take a look at the onboard of the 29 of Tyler Reddick and watch the 17 of Timothy Peters. It's into the back end of that 13 of Cameron Haley, and that really gets it going.
Yeah, they're all bumping there. It looks like maybe the 29 actually bumped Timothy Peters a little bit. Certainly wasn't anything intentional, but Timothy Peters looked like he just turned a 13 sideways, Matt.
And Timothy Peters, under this red flag, guys, was talking to his team, conversing about what he felt like took place during that incident. And this was some radio communication between he and his team. And I think once he sees the video, he may have second thoughts.
29 got me, which I hit the 13, sent him up the track. So it ain't all my fault.
And the good news for Timothy Peters, you can see his truck looks pretty much unscathed.
Well, certainly when it's compared to the others, many of the others that are back there on that backstretch that are stopped, we see some heavy damage even to those that are still rolling, those that are under red and parked on the backstretch. But we've had, what, 16, 17 trucks in somewhere in that area that were involved in that accident. So it's done a lot of damage. There's a lot of cleanup, and in the meantime, we've got them parked on the backstretch. 7 laps to go in the race. Let's get more with Hermie.
We're going to Marcus Richmond to come down to pit box and talk to us. You guys done a tremendous job. Been from the front to the back, back to the front. You in the right place at the right time to miss that first one. What advice are you giving to your driver to try to close this thing out?
Yeah, we're just lucky we got a really fast GMS Smoky Mountain snuff truck here. I mean, Chevrolet and ECR motors, it's really fast. So hopefully, you know, we really hate it for Spencer and Grant getting involved in the wreck, but hopefully Johnny and Tab Boyd up top and bring this thing home to the end.
What is your advice on these restarts? What do you plan to see happening, or do you have a plan at this point?
It really depends on which lane the 81 truck picks. If he picks the top side, then, you know, we'll just try to stay on the bottom, but the top side has been really good tonight, so we'll see what lane he picks, and then we'll go from there.
That's Marcus Richmond, the crew chief for Johnny Sauter. Matt?
Hermie, John Monson has been coming to Daytona for about 30 years. He's worked in different levels of NASCAR with some really spectacular wheelmen through the years. And looking at your little driver, Ryan Truex, what impresses you the most?
He's just cool. He's calm, you know. He took the lead the first time, and he said, "That's how it's done, boys." And I mean, it's just been fun. The whole weekend's been fun for he and I to get to know each other better. And I've known him since he was a kid. You know, I actually helped his dad many years ago, 20 years ago. And so it's great just to see the second generation of the Truex family.
Now, do you give him any advice from here to the finish, or do you basically just let him call his own race from the seat?
You know, he's done such a good job. I haven't really, we've talked about a lot of things before the race started, but during the race, I've just given him a little bit here and there. The spotter, Clayton's doing a heck of a job, and Ryan's just a smart kid. He knows what to do, I think, and, you know, we just hope that we can make it happen, that's all.
And Clayton is Clayton Hughes, who happens to be Martin Truex Jr.'s Sprint Cup Series spotter.
A lot of dots to connect in those conversations. Boy, you know, you weave back through some of the names that are connected throughout the years. Pretty cool.
It's not a coincidence that that's his spotter. Martin's really hands-on when it comes to Ryan's career, trying to help him every step of the way. And obviously, I love seeing when you get this opportunity, proving how deserving of the opportunity he is, getting that truck right up front.
This is essentially a brand new team. Just a handful of starts over the last couple of years for Shiggy's team.
The big one at Daytona collected about 16. We've still got 7 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it. Begins at 5 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. We'll have the Daytona 500 winner on Monday. And Tuesday, Joey Logano stops by, and Jeff Gordon will be there as well. All the big names, Monday through Thursday, Race Hub, 5 o'clock Eastern on FS1.
We might have a little radioactive next week as well.
We got a lot to recap from Daytona, I'm telling you that.
Let's go downstairs and check in with Caitlin.
Well, Vince, Cameron Haley was one of the drivers involved in that big incident just a few moments ago. Are you okay, and what happened from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm all right. Our cabinets by Haley Tundra was really amazing tonight. We could go up to the front, stay there all night. Not quite sure what happened. Want to watch the replay here. It's hard racing there. I guess we just caught bumpers out the wrong way. Peters got in the back of me, and I mean, it's just tight racing. It's so hard there at the end. Everyone's bumping into each other and trying to hold a pretty wheel, and I mean, I guess that's Daytona, but it just sucks for all my guys. They worked so hard.
Thanks, Cameron.
Nowhere to go. Nothing you can do. And he summed it up. It's Daytona. I mean, it's super speedway racing. That happens when you're running 2, 3 wide, 10 rows deep.
Since we've gotten into the 20, 30 laps of this race, we knew that they couldn't race all the way to the checker without having an incident like that. And it wasn't a matter of if, it was when.
Rico Abreu was involved in that accident as well, and he joins Caitlin now.
Thank you, Vince. So, Rico, are you okay? And what did you see out there on track with that incident?
Yeah, good. Just trying to get the third lane going. Could get it going at times, and then it would fall back and then get going again. And then I just seen the 33 sideways. Sometimes if you bump too hard, it gets the trucks really loose. Just really tried to stay patient all race, and it sucks that it comes down to this. But hats off to everyone at ThorSport Racing. Safe Flight Auto Glass is on board this week. I think they're going to be on board for a few more races this year, and really excited to have them. And it's something new for our sport, and just looking forward to Atlanta now.
Thanks, Rico.
You know, we saw some guys make some great moves, some great saves when we were side by side. We've had 2 lanes pretty much the entire race, but we got down to 20 to go. We had that restart. When that 3rd lane formed up top, there's just less room, and the action just picked up.
Well, we're here tonight in Daytona. Next week, it's Atlanta. Practice on Friday for the Camping World Truck Series. We're going to do it 3 times. It's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely. We're going to have everything on track from Atlanta. Going to have a great doubleheader on Saturday with the Xfinity Series as well as the Truck Series.
The trucks are so fun in Atlanta. We've had some amazing finishes, always very competitive. Matt Crafton started mid-pack back a bit last year and just proved on lap 1 he was ready. He took them 4 wide on the apron down the back straightaway and just drove that truck to the front.
How about the grandstand ticket starting at $39? I like the weather guarantee.
Yep.
And they're talking about the weather's going to be nice in Atlanta next week.
It's going to be great all next weekend for sure.
AtlantaMotorspeedway.com for all your ticket information.
$39 to watch a NASCAR race.
Remember now, those Cup cars, it'd be the first time with a low downforce, the package for 2016. So that's going to be interesting as well.
It's going to be cool on Saturday. We've got the Xfinity Series doubleheader with the Camping World Truck Series. We'll have the Xfinity Series backing right up with the trucks.
All sorts of racing
on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, the Cup guys get going. That low downforce package. And Michael, what do you expect from that?
I just look forward to these guys slipping and sliding. We've seen these cars glued to the tracks on the 1.5 miles. Atlanta's got an abrasive surface. There's not a lot of grip anyway. And now we're going to couple that with a whole lot less downforce on the cars. Should see some good side-by-side racing and people not being able to break away from the pack. That's what the goal was. And the drivers seem to really like the package. And I'm looking forward to watching it. Atlanta's the perfect place for us to check it out for the first time in 2016.
The cleanup continues. It's taken a long time, and that really it happens when there's 16, 17 trucks involved in the wreck. We got to get it cleaned up. But you are not going to want to miss the finish. 7 to go at Daytona. What do you call that? Is that like the cushion at Eldora we're looking at there? Yeah.
We used to race on the beach, and we're bringing it back to the high banks here at Daytona International Speedway.
Brought the sand over here, didn't we?
Built a sandcastle out there with some of that. The cleanup, as you can see, continues after that massive accident that collected, what, 16, 17 trucks total? And those are just the ones that weren't able to roll or continue to roll. There's still a lot of damage parked on the backstretch as we sit under red. And in the meantime, let's go downstairs, check in with Caitlin.
Thank you, Vince. Well, John West Townley joining me now, stepping out of the infield care center. John, what did you see and experience from your truck during that incident?
Well, I mean, not really a whole lot. I mean, I know I was getting hit a lot from behind. I mean, there was a guy in front of me, then I just had nowhere to go. I mean, I just think it was an accordion effect, just gone wrong. But, you know, all in all, we had a great truck. You know, Bad Boy Mowers, hate it ended this way for him. But, I mean, I don't know. I think there was a chance one time that we could have gotten up to the front if the 33 hadn't have gotten pushed out in front when I was on the far outside line. But once he got up there and was kind of held the lane up, and I think it was kind of downhill from there. And unfortunately, we got on back in the mess.
A frustrating finish for John West Townley here in Daytona, guys.
That was a very good description of how things go wrong here at Daytona. You just can't see, and the next thing you know, there's carnage in front of you, and running at 185 miles an hour, there's just not a lot you can do.
Back to Matt Yoakum on the 81 of Ryan Truex.
Now, guys, you know, being parents like myself, you'll do anything for your child. You'll sacrifice yourself for their success and happiness. Back in 2002, Martin Truex Sr. gave up his driving career in the old Busch North Series to try to help Martin Jr. progress his racing career. Once Martin Jr. found success in Sprint Cup, then they set their sights on Ryan's career. He had a lot of success in the K&N Series, trying to get something solidified in the Truck Series. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but in typical classy fashion of Martin Sr., he said, you know what, this, if we could pull off the win, would be huge for me, but I think it would be even cooler for John Monson. This deal came together just a month ago. They're so behind because it came together so late, and yet they're having some great success tonight. And by the way, this is about the only moment that Martin Sr. has actually stopped pacing. He's leaned up against the wall. He's about wore out his shoes pacing back and forth behind the pit.
Good story, Matt. You know, a couple of weeks ago, Truex didn't know he was racing at all here tonight, and all of a sudden now he's in position to maybe win this thing. Well, it's been an eventful night Tommy Joe Martins got into the wall a couple of times early, brought out the first 2 cautions, did some pretty significant damage, eventually had to go to the garage. Here's the second one. The third caution was brought out when teams were trying to get to pit road. Cody Coughlin, Spencer Gallagher got involved in that. Christopher Bell took on a little bit of damage as well.
Some guys thought they were safely onto pit road and they got hit from behind by spinning trucks. Watch this save by William Byron. Look at those hands driving that pickup truck.
We've had a few of those. How about this save by Christopher Bell and his Toyota?
And then the leader, Johnny Sauter, almost sucked around sideways coming off turn 4, leading the race.
Another great save by Ben Rhodes, who got squeezed.
And there was no save in this one.
Just abrupt move to the outside by Cameron Haley after contact from behind by Timothy Peters. And look at the carnage behind.
Other than the first few trucks that were ahead of that, I'm not sure anybody got through that unscathed. Just about every single truck on the racetrack had some damage. Not sure about Parker Kligerman in the 92. He may have got through.
Another truck that got through that was near the rear was William Byron. He went to the apron and was able to slip through.
Pretty hard contact. You see the double zero there of Cole Custer.
We know how that
damage.
We know how that sound feels, don't we,
Sure
Phil?
do. Sure do.
Well, see if you can find your favorite driver on this list of those involved in the crash.
And hopefully you can't.
It almost looks like the starting lineup. There's so many names on there.
Yeah, if you can't find your favorite driver on that list, well, that's a good sign. That's good news. He's over in that group over there to the right, then he's still got a pretty good shot at this thing, maybe. Austin Terrio's led the most laps, but it's not going to end up the way he had hoped, and he's with Caitlin.
Certainly not, Vince. He was just taking a look at the replay here, shaking his head. Are you okay? I know you took a hard hit, and what did you see from your perspective in the truck?
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate day for the Go-Go in-flight Internet F-150. We had a really fast truck. I mean, that's all you can ask for at places like this. We could make moves. We could, pull really good. I made a mistake probably halfway through the race, a little bit too aggressive, but, I set out to win the race, and I thought I laid it all out there. Just sad for the guys. We did our best, and we came up short, but I'm fine. Glad I hit the safer barrier. Thankful for the safety improvements NASCAR continues to make, and hopefully this leads to new opportunities.
Thanks.
Great point by Austin Terrio about the additional safer barrier. Been additional safer barrier added here at Daytona. Always trying to keep things safer for the drivers. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick waiting for that red to be lifted so his crew can go to work. Still waiting, 7 to go. Well, that's a good sight. The red flag has been lifted after nearly 28 minutes. And trucks are on pit road. The trucks that were damaged and sitting on pit road during the red, they can now be worked on. And those that were on the backstretch parked, they've come to pit road, Michael.
How'd you figure there'd be this many trucks on pit road with 6 laps to go? We pitted with 30-some to go. We felt like we were done to the finish. Obviously, a lot of trucks need some repairs. This is a chance for guys to grab great finishes. People that slipped through that crash, there's not many of them, so there'll be some great finishes by some underdog teams.
And we had almost a 30-minute red flag, so it gave these teams an opportunity to get some pieces ready. We know Matt Crafton needed some work done to his left front fender. Gave time for Junior Joyner and his guys to get stuff ready. We saw all the damage on the left side of John Hunter Nemechek's truck. Gave his guys some time to get some stuff ready.
Well, some drivers now, they've crossed the line, so now that ticks down 6 laps to go. I think we should start considering what we might be dealing with here in regards to overtime. We have a new overtime rule and an overtime line to consider, and how this race may finish up.
Yeah, be a real good chance for that. We'll get a restart at the start-finish line. If we get over to the line on the backstretch, that will be considered a clean restart, and we will finish this race with the next flag. We'll either come around, get the white, and then the checker, or if the caution were to come out, then we would freeze the field, and that would end this race. But we could have multiple attempts to get that clean restart.
Yeah, and a lot of guys are going to be close on fuel anyway, so they can't hardly handle getting multiple attempts at a green-white checker. The line is located in the center of the backstretch, basically an extension of the start-finish line. And the reason why that line was put there, Phil, is NASCAR felt like, after talking to the drivers and the teams, that by the time you got to that line, the restart was rolling. You were up to speed, and there wasn't going to be anything crazy that could cause a problem once you crossed that line. Now, you could have a crash, but it wouldn't be because of a slow car on the restart or anything like we saw with the problems at the restart over at Talladega last fall.
Yeah, exactly. We obviously, the start-finish line on down towards turn 1 at Talladega, we had a crash coming off the tri-oval before the car at the field got to the start-finish line. That was not considered a restart. Now we're going to make it a little bit clearer.
This is a patch job, and remember, that truck's going to go 190 if things go to plan, and I just don't really foresee that patch holding up so well.
We call that 200-mile-an-hour tape, but I'm not sure as much of that tape's on there that it'll make it.
Don't have that to contend with yet. Still 5 to go. Don't go anywhere. The finish is next.
Honey.
Well, they're back on track, and this is going to be difficult here. This the way this truck is set up, I think they're going to have to address something. What do you think?
Sometimes we wonder if people can see, but for Chris Fontaine, it's obvious that he really can't see anything.
Yeah, Fontaine did such a great job of driving through the crash, and then he ducked down off the apron onto the grass, and the grass just tore his whole nose right off. Obviously caused some damage to the front end, and then his hood blew up. So his problems went from bad to worse.
So while they get the hood down on Fontaine's truck,
watch the crash develop when Peters gets a big run on the 13 truck. The third truck on the inside bumps the guy running second, turns him to the outside, and that causes this mess. See the 78 of Fontaine back at the bottom of your screen with William Byron? Those two trucks in the back, they're just creeping through, doing a great job.
Right there.
You can see right there Fontaine. He decides late that he's going to have to duck off the apron to miss that piece of debris. Bam! Look at the front end destroyed on that truck. On the other hand, Byron stayed on the road. No damage to that 9 truck. He's in good shape to race for this win still.
Final laps ticking away. We are going to have one heck of a finish when they get them lined up and we get a restart to settle who's going to win the season opener at Daytona. And remember, not just a win, but with the new chase format, the win carries that extra significance. Almost, depending on who it is, would guarantee a chance to run in the chase and compete for a championship.
What does Shiggy Hattori do if Ryan Truex is able to go to victory lane here? That truck is not scheduled to run full-time. We know they would like to run full-time where they'll have a little bit of incentive if they get to victory lane with that truck.
Because to be eligible for the chase, you must meet the criteria. You must attempt to run the first 16 races. They were not planning to do so, but if you win this race here tonight, maybe that does give you that extra incentive to try to make something happen to continue to come week to week. 1 to go, by the way.
We talked about some underdog teams that are now in a position to get a great finish. Look at Timmy Hill, Travis Quapple. They've raced their way up inside the top 10 along with Tyler Young. He's there. Brandon Brown, we saw him slide through that wreck as well. These are teams inside the top 10 late here at Daytona.
Keep an eye on Kligerman right there, third in line on the inside of the 92. I think he got through that incident without any damage. There's a lot of trucks right now in the top 10 that have some damage. Watch out for Kligerman. He knows how to win on these restrictor plate tracks. He won at Talladega.
And Vince talked earlier about guys that narrowly missed disaster, one of which is that guy, the Ford truck of Christopher Bell. We saw him almost spin out down in turn 1, got on the apron, saved that truck. Then he came to pit road, got in a crash on pit road, was nearly in the crash on the back straightaway. He finds himself restarting 4th with a chance to win for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
So give me your pick. Who's going to win it?
I'm going to go with Timothy Peters. New crew chief, new sponsor, new attitude. Peters wins it. Who do you like, Phil?
I like Johnny Sauter. He's been here. He's been to victory lane here before. He has a strong truck.
My guy's been to victory lane too.
I know it. He has. Both of them have been to Victory Lane here and at Talladega. And what about the guys leading, Ryan Truex?
I was going to say, remember?
Vince, you pick him.
Hey, you don't have to twist my arm. I think it's been unbelievable what Truex has done tonight.
You're taking Truex, Vince. I hope you like your pick. But just remember the big upset that John King pulled here a couple years ago. Got to Victory Lane, and he said, "This is fun. This is my first feature victory." I mean, the Daytona 500 is the feature, or the Daytona Speedway is everyone's feature, and he got a win here.
How about Travis Quapple? He's had, what, I think 2 runner-up finishes here in the truck race. Right now he's running in the 6th spot.
This will not be considered overtime. When we take the green, there will be 2 to go. On the front row, it's Ryan Truex in the blue Toyota. Right next to him is Johnny Sauter in the green Chevrolet. Timothy Peters and Christopher Bell in row 2. They're coming to the green. The restart is on. 2 to go at Daytona. Who's going to win it?
It may have a lot to do with who's in that 2nd row, who's doing the pushing back there.
Timothy Peters was very aggressive with his push to Ryan Truex. And look at Sauter. He's trying to crowd down on Truex.
A lot of door banging going on at the front.
They're still dead even. Christopher Bell lost a little ground to Sauter. Look at that inside line going.
You can't push. You
Keep it
can't
on that yellow line,
consistently
Keep it on the
push.
yellow line now. Don't get too far out. Right there. Doing good. Doing good. Looking good. Looking good. 3 of y'all in a breakaway here now. 3 of.
Truex and Peters, 1-2.
We're not done from hearing from Johnny Sauter. Johnny's going to have a big run.
Truex trying to keep the field behind him.
Keep it behind you. Keep it behind you. Keep it behind you. 1 to go. 1 to go.
The white flag is out.
They're going to
Sauter
crash.
with a big run. They're crashing. Christopher Bell upside down. Coming to the checkered flag, but the yellow is out. And Johnny Sauter will win the season opener at Daytona, and Chevrolet will go to Victory Lane for the first time in the at Daytona in the Truck Series.
That is awesome to see there,
guys.
That
window net down and Christopher Bell coming out. A lot of people breathing a sigh of relief right there. Wow, what a ride taken by Christopher Bell. Incredible.
That was scary. That truck was running nearly 190 miles an hour when it started flipping, and fortunately for us and for Christopher Bell, NASCAR has done a great job with the safety of these trucks.
Johnny Sauter takes the checkered flag and is the winner. Sauter, his 11th career win and his 2nd win at Daytona. Marcus Richmond is the crew chief, and he's with Hermie.
Marcus, I've seen you win some races before, but you guys seem like you're overly excited about this win. New team, new opportunity. You go to Victory Lane at Daytona.
Yeah, when you just make a switch and you have a new team and you got all this pressure, Maury Gallagher is giving us everything to go win races. Chevrolet, ECR, I mean, we have every tool to win every race. And I have a driver to win every race, have guys to win every race. And I just want to thank everybody at GMS for all their hard work and ECR at all their hard work, because this thing was unbelievable tonight. Tab Boyd up in there, and Johnny Sauter won that race tonight, and it is unreal. And hi home to my little girl, Tinley, and my wife, Tracy. Man, this is awesome.
He's excited. We're going to Victory Lane.
Plenty of reason to be excited. Congratulations. And well, that's what GMS, when they brought Johnny Sauter, they brought him here to win, and he did it. Christopher Bell, believe it or not, walked away from it, climbed out under his own power, walked away. Watch the ride taken in the 4 truck on the outside, 2nd in line.
Peters gets bumped.
Looks like William Byron got jumped by the 86. Look at Timothy Peters on the inside as Christopher Bell tumbles down the front straightaway. Timothy all the way to the inside of the racetrack, because you know, a lot of new pavement down there, guys, and that makes such a huge difference. They don't get any grass. A lot of huge pavement scrubs off a lot of that speed.
I count 13 rolls for Christopher Bell. Watch it.
Well, Daniel Hemrick almost went underneath that 4 truck of Christopher Bell.
It's a testament to the safety of these racing vehicles that Christopher Bell can take that kind of ride
Christopher
and
Bell
then drop the window net and climb out.
Very fortunate that these trucks are as safe as they are. Look at this truck just get out of control. Probably about the fastest part of this speedway, Phil, right out of the tri-oval.
It just starts tumbling.
That young man with his dirt racing background, I'm sure he's had many barrel rolls in his career, but none like that.
And Michael, I know you've been upside down. I've been upside down like that. The flipping's not that bad, but it's the landing that hurts. And that thing landed about 6 or 8 times pretty hard.
What about Brandon Brown? He slides through there. Looks like he's going to be credited with a 4th place finish.
I think he might have got in the back of William Byron, and that's what got in the back of the 4 of Christopher Bell and turned him sideways.
Wow. But we saw, you know, experienced driver like Timothy Peters. Let's watch this view.
You coming to reckon, back it up, back it out, back it out, back it out.
Wow, he had to turn hard left to avoid the flipping Christopher Bell.
You're right, Phil. All that pavement down there gave those guys options.
Watch Timothy Peters second in line on the inside after the contact.
That looks a whole lot like the angle that Kyle Busch rode into that inside wall a year ago. But all that pavement and that wall has been relocated. There's safer barrier all in that area there.
And just barely nudged that safer barrier with all that pavement to scrub off the speed.
What a run from Ryan Truex. Finishes second tonight, and he's with Matt.
Definitely an impressive run. Now, you just had a chance to look at the video, and that explained a lot for you about what took place.
Yeah, I lost my helper. I lost my pusher. Cameron Haley was pushing me really well. I don't know who pushed me to the lead, but thanks to whoever it was, I just got to thank these guys. I mean, this truck wasn't a truck a month ago, and I didn't have a ride 2 weeks ago. So I tried to push you, man. I was pushing everything I had. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it all just came down to who could bump the best without completely hooking up. And I think I was the first one to make it to the front doing that, and everyone caught on. So it's tough not to win, but I think we're going to get us one this year and run for a championship for sure.
Will we see you with this team at Atlanta?
Yes, we will be there. We'll be at Martinsville. We've got a lot of races with sponsorship. We've got some unsold that we need to sell. So, like I said, me, John Munson, Shiggy Hattori, we all want to run for a championship. I know Toyota wants one, so it feels good to be back. So, I mean, second sucks, but I'll take it.
Great night.
Happy for John Monson there, too. Longtime crew chief in this series, getting to celebrate a great finish tonight.
Back in 2013, Johnny Sauter took the 98 to victory lane here at Daytona. And he did it again tonight. Sauter did some burnouts on that night a couple of years ago, and he is going to be celebrating with a different team tonight. He's in victory lane at Daytona with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, he just pulled into victory lane trying to get unbuckled. These guys in victory lane so terribly excited about this win at Daytona. Johnny, new team, new crew chief. Second time in victory lane at Daytona. Here he is, Johnny Sauter, your winner at Daytona. Johnny, this team endured probably the most competitive field we've had at Daytona. All those restarts, cautions, a 30-minute red flag. It came down to the final restart. Take us back through those last 2 laps.
Well, I didn't know. You know, I knew there were 7 laps to go with the red flag, and I didn't know how they were going to clean it up. And then I saw putting all that oil dry down. I thought, there's a good chance this might be green-white checkers. I was thinking to myself, or at least a 3-lap shootout. And, man, I'm so pumped up. I want to thank Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, first of all, and Chevrolet, their first win at Daytona in the Truck Series. I'm so pumped up to be back in a Chevrolet. Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff for coming over. everybody at GMS, all the guys at the shop, unbelievable. And the Ford truck for the push. He was pushing me, I was sideways, and we lost momentum there, and I thought we were all going to crash. And next thing I know, he's pushing me again and bumping me, and it all worked out. I just thank Maury Gallagher, Mike Beam, everybody at GMS, Tom Ackerman, everybody at the shop, and Chevrolet, all of our sponsors, unbelievable.
And with this chase format, you guys are now going to race for a championship this year.
Well, that's cool. I'm all for it. You know, I just had this feeling that our truck was so good yesterday, and if I didn't make any mistakes, we were going to have a shot at this. And Marcus did a phenomenal job calling a race. I thought we were in trouble there when the caution came out, and we were committed to pit road, and we lost track position. But, man, just say hi to my wife and kids. Thank God. And this is unbelievable. I'm so pumped to be the first guy to get Chevrolet to victory lane here. And GMS, I mean, what can I say? This is an opportunity of a lifetime for myself.
Johnny Sauter wins at Daytona.
In his first start with GMS Racing. GMS, we talked earlier in the night, they laid the foundation last year for their team. They felt like this was the year they need to step it up, take it to the next level. They doubled the size of their staff. They brought Johnny Sauter and Marcus Richmond on board, and this is why they made that investment to get to victory lane, and they did it tonight.
And they got the guy behind the wheel that can win this championship, and he put an exclamation point on his joining GMS here. Been hearing talk all winter long about all the great moves they're making at GMS. That was all proven to be true here tonight in Daytona.
Unofficial, and we should put those in bold letters because of all the chaos tonight, the unofficial results. How about this group? Ryan Truex, Parker Kligerman, Brandon Brown, and Tyler Young rounding out the top 5 behind Sauter.
Anytime you have a big accident like that, it really gives guys an opportunity, and we had several cases of that. How about Scott Lagasse Jr.? Basically one lap of practice, and he ends up with a top 10 finish.
Bobby Gerhart was able to charge up to the 12th spot. We saw him at the front early and fell back. William Byron in a couple of crashes.
I want to say, too, that's probably the most exciting 16th place finish Christopher Bell's ever had. Look at the finish. Wow, what a crazy night here at Daytona. What a way to get it started. The 11th career win for Johnny Sauter. A lot of saves, a lot of excitement, a lot of crashing. But it was a memorable one at Daytona. What a great night for Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. Great job downstairs from Hermes Sadler, Caitlin Vinci, and Matt Yoakum. We saw a little bit of everything tonight. Just a teaser for what we're going to have throughout the course of the season. I'm Vince Welch. Good night from Daytona. Stay tuned. Untold Stories Daytona next.